LoveLore Library. Chapter 196, Storm at Sea, Lost Contact. Chapter 196, Storm at Sea, Lost Contact. Manny, don't you know how to steer a yacht? Manny was still wiping her tears. She looked at Zhao with resentment. She knew that Zhao was scaring her, but she'd really had a fright earlier. Idiot, you can't even do these simple things. If you keep yapping, I'm gonna toss you into the sea. If you keep threatening me, I'll tell the cops when we land that you tried raping me. You better bribe the hospital for injury verification first. Manny glared at Zhao and came to the steering position. Huh? How come you can't turn off autopilot? Manny tried turning it off but failed. Did you mess up the system? How come you can't turn it off? Pfft, seems like you aren't any smarter than me, Zhao mocked. The automatic screen seemed to have been disturbed. It kept flashing erratically. Zhao suddenly had a bad feeling. Manny, go to the bedroom and don't come out. What's wrong? Listen and go hide. Don't come out, no matter what you hear. Manny checked Zhao's expression. Before, he'd always had an annoying smile, but he looked completely different now. His expression was now serious, like something major was about to happen. The yacht kept cruising forward without stopping. Just then, a light on the side of the steering system lit up. What does this light mean? Manny pointed at the flashing screen. Storm. We're heading toward a storm. Fuck. Zhao moved the rudder. Can you make the boat stop? You can only use manual operation if you turn off the autopilot. Isn't there some emergency alternative? Like if the system stops working, you can press the emergency button and turn to manual. No. Go put on a life vest, Zhao said, expression hard. He took his phone out, but he didn't have a signal. The waves were still tossing and hitting the yacht, making it start to shake. Ah! Zhao turned to look. Manny's foot hit the side because the turbulence and twisted her ankle. I knew that you would be trouble, Zhao gritted out, pointing at her. Zhao really wanted to leave her here to die, but she was Zola's daughter. He had to help. He squatted down to check Manny's foot. It wasn't serious and was just a bump with light bruising. He tugged down a life vest from the side and put it on Manny. No matter what happens later, don't leave my side. Chen, are we going to die here? No. But I'm scared. Scared? And you still jumped on. I didn't know. At that moment, the light in the horizon disappeared. The starlight was completely covered by a black shadow. The yacht started shaking violently. Zhao sat in the seat, one hand around Manny, the other flipping through a book. What are you looking at? Manny asked. Emergency Escape Manual. You're reading it now. It's not like we can do anything else. Manny stared at him. Can't you make a useful suggestion? Then let's wait for death. Of course, a medium-sized yacht like this one was able to resist storms to a point, if nothing else happened. The storm was approaching. There was an even darker black shadow in the storm. The ghost ship. It finally appeared. Manny shivered while Zhao hugged her tightly. Manny, did you see something? What? Nothing. Zhao shook his head. He held the doom star in the other hand. It really lived up to its name. He ran into a storm as soon as he was out to sea, appearing with the ghost ship. It was unknown whether the storm was caused by the doom star or the ghost ship. The ship shook violently. Zhao and Manny both felt that they were tossed into the air for a bit. The next moment, the ship landed heavily in the water. The ship was still in one piece and had no damages. This didn't mean that they were safe, though. Instead, the true danger hadn't arrived yet. The ghost ship was coming straight for the yacht. Zhao hugged Manny tightly and rushed out of the cockpit, jumping into the sea. At that moment, the yacht was already distorted by the crash and toppled over. Blackie! Zhao yelled. Blackie had already rushed toward the ghost ship. The wind grew stronger, the waves grew angrier. The ghost ship started flipping over too. Countless evil spirits on the ship cried and howled. Blackie activated the bloodshed because he was on a whole other level from the evil spirits. To Blackie, these evil spirits and even the ghost ship were just sheep. No amount of sheep posed a threat to a tiger. However, Zhao couldn't care about Blackie's battle against the ghost ship. He had to deal with the sea now. The waves kept hitting him and Manny. Manny choked on a few mouthfuls of seawater. Protect your face. Stop drinking the water. Holding Manny with one hand, Zhao blocked the waves from her with the other. That was all he could do now. The waves were too strong and he couldn't swim at all. No matter how strong a human was, he still couldn't go up against nature. Chen, I'm scared. Are we going to die? Manny was sobbing because she was genuinely afraid. It was her first time in a life-or-death situation. Even an adult would panic and feel helpless, let alone a girl. No. Feilai was unsettled the entire night. She couldn't fall asleep. Rain poured down outside, making her even more unsettled. She picked up her phone to call Zhao, but it kept saying that he wasn't in the service zone. Just then, she suddenly received a notification. Last night, a strong air current appeared in the southwest of the coast. Wind power reached level 10 with huge waves. Due to the bad weather, signal has also been disrupted. Marine operators should not head out onto the sea within 24 hours to avoid danger. Seeing this, Feilai's expression changed. She started panicking, not knowing what to do. Sienna, something happened to Chen. What? Sienna had been deep in sleep. Hearing Feilai's voice, she was still in a daze. Chen brought the doomed star to sea and ran into a storm. Sienna woke up immediately. How is he now? I don't know. The call won't go through. Chapter 197, New Demon Servant on the Sea. Chapter 197, New Demon Servant on the Sea. Zola, Manny's in danger. What? What danger? What happened to her? When Zola received the call from Rasfa, she still had no idea what had happened. Last night I lent Chen a yacht. Manny sneaked onto the yacht. When they were coming back to shore, they met a windstorm. Where are they now? How's Manny? My people have already found the overturned yacht, but neither of them is on the yacht. Zola felt the whole world turn upside down, as if it was the end of the world. Dad! Help me find Manny, please. Help me find her. She's just a kid, Zola cried in sorrow. I've already sent out a search and rescue team. Rasfa was similarly anxious. Zola, you need to be prepared for the worst. Rasfa could hear Zola sob at the other side of the phone. He hung up. What does Manny's positioning watch say? No signals. Rasfa already regretted his decision. Manny was in danger precisely because he had lent Zhao the yacht. Chen, I'm thirsty. Manny lay on Zhao's back. They had already been in the sea for an entire night. The scorching sun after the storm was evaporating the water in their bodies away at an astonishing rate. Zhao continued to swim forward slowly, carrying Manny on his back. I'm thirsty too. Zhao regretted not bringing some plain water in the spatial ring. Now, they had no plain water at all. You sure we're going in the correct direction? Zhao asked. Maybe. I dunno, Manny looked around her. The sun just rose up from that side, right? I can't remember, Zhao admitted. Will we die here? No. Remove your life vest and cover your head. I'm carrying you. You won't need it. Most of Manny's body was submerged in seawater, which could block most of the sunlight. Nonetheless, she still felt hot from the sunlight that was shining onto her head. Zhao was worried that Manny would be dehydrated before they reached the shore or were rescued. In such a situation, he would not even have the chance to save her. Chen, you tired? No. Even if Zhao was tired, he would not admit it. Manny was in her most vulnerable state at the moment. Zhao was worried that she would mentally collapse. After a few more hours in the sea, it was already noon. Manny's voice gradually diminished. Zhao turned around and held Manny. Manny, wake up. Manny. She did not respond. Her lips were dry and her forehead was burning. The worst scenario had happened. Zhao tried to think of a solution. He was not even sure if he was heading in the correct direction. Swimming for 7 or 8 hours was very tiring even for him. Zhao was very exhausted. He also wanted to just give up. Tiredness appeared again, continuously breaking down his mental defense. In such a desperate situation, most people would give in, even the most determined of all. But Manny was in peril. If Zhao could not think of a solution, she would actually die. So tired. Don't want to move anymore. So tired too. Don't want to move anymore too. Suddenly, Zhao heard a voice in his mind. Hallucination. Zhao shook his head. Suddenly, Zhao's feet touched something big. Shark. Zhao immediately curled his legs. Because of his previous experience, the first thing he thought of when he touched something in the sea was sharks. If it was really a shark, Manny and he were dead for sure. He was in a very bad shape at the moment. Any large predator could kill the two of them easily. Just then, the thing underwater floated up slightly. Zhao's feet touched it again. It was not a shark. It felt even larger than a shark. Zhao lowered his head and saw a huge patch of darkness under him. The thing was indeed much larger than a shark. The next moment, the thing floated out of the sea and carried Zhao and Manny on its back. Zhao finally saw it clearly. It was a killer whale, a predator more powerful than the sharks. It was truly a king of the sea. I'm so tired. Can you come down from my back? Zhao heard the voice in his head again. He was stunned. Are you talking to me? I feel tired just talking to you. Demon. Yes. What's your name? Zhao asked. Amon Baria, subordinate of Sloth. Why are you asking me for my name when you're the one who summoned me from hell? Did I summon him? Another subordinate of the 7 great demon kings. Anyway, Zhao did not expect himself to summon such a huge guy, not to mention that he was aquatic. Amon Baria was significantly bigger than normal killer whales. The largest killer whale could be up to 10 meters long and weigh about 10 tons. However, Amon was at least 15 meters long. He was a real giant. Bring us towards the northeast, Zhao said. I'm too tired to move. Do you want demonic crystals? Yes. Bring us there. Tired. Then what do I need you for? You lazy pig. Why did you even summon me? You're my demon servant now. You have to listen to me. But I just don't want to move. Zhao gritted his teeth. Do you know that among all my demon servants, there's a subordinate of Raymond, the king of lust? So, if you defy my orders again, I'll ask Raymond to make you mate continuously and you'll never be able to stop. Think carefully. Northeast, right? Amon agreed readily. Zhao was speechless. What kind of demons did he have? Could he not just have an ordinary demon? After a while, Manny was awakened by the cool sea breeze. Chen, where are we now? Are we found by the rescue team? Soon. Then we're. Manny touched the thing she was on. It felt wet and slippery. It's a whale. We're quite lucky. Are you sure it will bring us home? Yes. Don't worry. Will it suddenly go underwater, and we'll be in the sea again? No, we've had an agreement. Chen, do you know animal language? No. Whales are intelligent creatures. You don't have to talk to them. They'll be able to understand certain things by themselves. But how can you be sure that it'll send us to the shore? Just rest assured. Amon might be lazy, but his speed in water was really amazing. Zhao and Manny felt as if they were riding on the waves. When the sea breeze and the seawater hit onto their faces, it even felt slightly painful. There, go that way. Manny seemed to be fully energized again and started instructing Amon excitedly. Chapter 154, Captain. Chapter 154, Captain. After lunch, Zhao bid farewell to Diana and Neville. After leaving the school, Gaia called. Chen, I heard from Weregirl that you want to go against someone. That bastard. He said he'll keep it a secret. Weregirl didn't sell you out. He called me to ask if I know anyone, so I called you. What, you want some extra income? I don't do that, Gaia said. But I know some veterans. I don't plan on starting a war. I don't plan on having my friends join a war either. But they're good at things other than holding guns too. Gaia, you should know that what I'm doing is more dangerous than a war. I have to face a billionaire. My friends need money. They won't mind the danger if they're paid enough. Then what can they help me with? Do you have time? We can talk. Sure, I'll go to the gym to find you. After arranging that, Zhao hurried over to the gym. He hadn't come in a few days, but he told Gaia beforehand that he was quite busy. However, he was forced to make time today. Gaia was the coach for the army before. She was definitely more knowledgeable in this aspect than him. When Ola Miller saw Zhao, she led him into Gaia's office. Miller, close the door and don't let anyone in, Gaia ordered. Okay. Ola knew that they must have to talk about something important. After she left, the office's mood turned heavy. You need to face Philip Quinn, right? Why are you asking me if you already heard from Weregirl? I need you to reply personally. Yes. What do you plan on doing to him? 3 minutes. Give me 3 minutes of private time with him. What are you going to do to him in those 3 minutes? That's my own matter. I can introduce you to some people. They're experts in this field and can arrange everything for you, from the plan to action. What's the price? $100,000 for everything. Are they reliable? They're experts in this. They're definitely reliable. To what extent can they do it? If Weregirl's men follow their orders, they'll ensure at least 80% chance for you to have 3 minutes alone with Philip. What if they fail? You still have to pay, Gaia answered. Hearing this, Zhao had a headache. However, he had no other choice. His mind was muddled and he had no clue where to start. If they fail, I only need to pay $50,000, Zhao said, training his eyes on Gaia. Okay. Gaia nodded, accepting the request. Someone will contact you later. Just as Zhao left the gym after their talk, his phone rang. It was a stranger. The voice on the other end of the call was raspy and deep. Hello, I'm Lloyd Word. You can call me Captain. Captain Lloyd Word. Is that your military title? Did Gaia introduce you? Yes, Gaia introduced me, but that's not my title. It's my nickname. So, Captain, you should know what I want, right? Let you be alone with Philip Quinn for 3 minutes, correct? Lloyd asked. Are you confident? Of course. I won't fool around with the lives of my men and I have a family. Should we meet? No need. Then how do we do it? Just wait for my alert. He sounded really professional, but Zhao wasn't confident in a partner that he'd never met before. While walking down the street, someone bumped into him. The man fell to the ground. I'm sorry. Zhao reached out to help him up. The man's hair was messy and had an unshaven face. He carried a few books and looked panicked. It's okay. The guy hurried away. Zhao saw a metallic coin on the ground and picked it up. It was twice the size of regular coins. It was a strange material too. It felt heavy and he didn't know what kind of metal it was made out of. It also looked vintage. The carved design was strange too. The top side was like some animal's head and the other side had a 6-point star. Hey, you dropped something. The guy was only a few feet away, but he pretended that he didn't hear. He kept walking forward without looking back. Zhao jogged over and grabbed the thin guy. Hey, this is yours, right? The man looked at the coin in Zhao's hands with hesitation. A beat later, he still took it. Thanks. With that, he turned and left. Zhao looked at him in confusion. A moment later, he seemed to see a shadow following the man. Sienna and Chris were both comforting Feilai, but her tears flowed down without stopping. Feilai, Chen will be fine, David said. Don't forget that he's not an average guy. Ask Sienna if you don't believe me. Yeah. Feilai, Chen will come back safely. Sienna wasn't confident either. She was a spiritualist herself, so she was clear that normal people and spiritualists weren't much different when faced with a storm. Humans couldn't go up against nature. Sienna felt that Zhao might be dead. Just then, they heard the door open. Everyone in the room froze. Feilai stood up immediately, looking at the door. Hey, Sienna, David, Chris, how come you're all here? Zhao walked in. Feilai rushed toward him and planted a kiss on Zhao's lips. Zhao was stunned. What was happening? Feilai, wait. What happened? Zhao pushed Feilai away. Her kiss was too strong. Zhao even wondered if his lips were bruised from the impact. Plus, Feilai clearly didn't have any experience. Zhao suspected that Feilai's kissing techniques were copied from movies. Nothing. Feilai suddenly let go of Zhao and returned to the sofa. Sienna and Chris were both dazed while David looked at Zhao with envy. Chen, I think I should go face a storm too. Then maybe Sienna and Chris will welcome me like that too when I get home. Sienna smiled at Feilai. Feilai, can you explain what that kiss meant? Feilai looked up at Zhao. Chen, let's date. Ha! You don't want to. Zhao really wasn't prepared. Looking at Feilai's dark expression, Zhao slapped himself. I want to. Chapter 199, Be Together. Chapter 199, Be Together. To be honest, Zhao was indeed not mentally prepared at all. It was really too sudden. However, he did not know how to reject Feilai whom he had been staying with for so long. In the end, witnessed by 3 friends, Feilai successfully proposed to Chen Zhao. "Chen, how did you escape from the storm?" David asked. "I was lucky. Got myself a new pet in the sea." "What pet?" "A killer whale. Name's Amon. He sent me to the shore." Everyone was speechless. They all knew that none of Chen Zhao's pets was ordinary. His pets were at least intelligent. Feilai had even seen for herself how Black Ma and White Ma had appeared. Hence, they all seemed to be very interested in Amon. David even asked excitedly, "Where's Amon now?" "Of course he's in the sea. You didn't think I would carry Amon back, did you? When can we go and see him?" "Maybe next time when you're all free. You've all been here for the whole day. Go back and rest," Feilai said. "Now that Chen's back, you're going to chase us away like this." "I'm staying tonight," Sienna complained in dissatisfaction. "Sienna, stop being a third wheel. We should leave before they kill us." Chris pulled Sienna away. David gave Chen Zhao a hug and then left with them too. Chen Zhao and Feilai both sat on the sofa in silence. Suddenly, Feilai stood up. "I'm taking a shower." Chen Zhao reached out and pulled Feilai into his arms. "Not now. Let's shower together later." Feilai was extremely nervous, but Chen Zhao would clearly not allow her to retreat. He made the first move. Unable to resist Chen Zhao's aggression, Feilai gave in almost immediately. Nonetheless, Chen Zhao did not overdo it. It was Feilai's first time, after all. In the bathroom, Feilai actively started another round. Only after a tiring battle, the two stopped. It was the first night they slept in each other's arms. Feilai lay on Chen Zhao's chest, feeling his warmth. It felt so quiet and peaceful, a feeling that Feilai had never experienced before. The next day, Feilai was clearly fully energized and rejuvenated. "Chen, do you want me to send you anywhere?" "No. Be careful at work." "I know. See you." It would seem like their conversation was just as usual, but in fact it already felt different. Chen Zhao sat on the sofa alone. After Feilai left the house, he took out his phone. "Hey, Jerlin." "Chen. Huh, you sound so strange. Are you in love?" It was a common belief that women were much more sensitive. Chen Zhao did not expect Jerlin to be able to guess what he wanted to say before he even did. "Yes. Congrats." Jerlin's gentle smile could be heard from the other side of the phone. She gave Chen Zhao her sincere blessing. "Thanks," Chen Zhao replied emotionlessly. "When are you coming back to Los Angeles?" "Maybe never. I'm planning to work at the station in San Francisco." "I see. I still have work to do now. Until next time." "All right. Goodbye." "Bye." Since Chen Zhao had accepted Feilai's proposal, he had to leave the other relationships he had in the past. Unlike a novel, in reality, few women could tolerate playful boyfriends. It was just like how Chen Zhao could not accept his girlfriend having an affair. Clearing the relationships he had in the past was good for both him and Feilai. Just then, Chen Zhao received a call from Weregirl. "Chen, are you free?" "What?" "You promised me that you'll treat my baldness." "Fine. Where are you?" "Right in front of your door." When Chen Zhao left the house, he saw Weregirl's car at once. Weregirl also saw Chen Zhao's entire family of pets behind him. "Chen, what are those 2 things? Don't tell me they're Alaskan Malamutes, because they're definitely not. They are what you think they are. Don't tell me they're coming too. My car's too small for them. They're not going onto your car, but you're coming out. Since you're already here, let's have the treatment in my house." Sure. Morguri followed Chen Zhao into his house with some curiosity. Chen, your house is different from what I thought. How? I thought your house would be filled with the smell of medicine. Also, your house is too tidy for a person who has so many pets. I've had a dog before as well. That asshole would make a mess in my house every day. Simple. If my dog dares to behave badly in my house, I'll beat the shit out of him. Chen Zhao was about to treat Morguri when he heard Azina's voice from the outside. Realizing that the door was unlocked, Azina shouted at the door to inform Chen Zhao and then came in directly. Hi, Chen. If you're here to play with Black Ma and White Ma, they're in the yard. White Ma's injured and can't run. I'm busy now. Alright. Chen Zhao had treated Morguri a few times already, so Morguri really trusted him. Nevertheless, when Morguri removed his shirt and Chen Zhao saw the gun hidden in it, his face darkened right away. Morguri, if you bring your gun into my house again next time, I'll chase you out. I didn't bring it for you. It's just that I have too many enemies. If I don't bring a gun, I'll feel really unsafe. Then next time I'll go to your place. Will we still have another session? Of course. Do you think it's that easy to treat hair loss? How long do I need to see the effect? About a month. You need to contact me every week. Okay. How much is it? 2,000 per session. Here you go. Morguri readily paid Chen Zhao, like he always did. By the way, last time you asked me about black market drugs. I'll give you a number. Tell the person that I introduced you. Alright. Thanks. Soon after Morguri left, Dion Sloat came. Chen, I'll only be the mayor till next week. What's your decision about the land near Mirror Lake? If you delay further, after I resign from my position, I will no longer be able to promise you that you can definitely get the land. At least you won't be able to get it at the same price. After some consideration, Chen Zhao made his final decision. I'll buy it. When are you free? Now. I still have something else later. Sure. Chen Zhao still had the 500,000 check that Ethan had given him. Since he had enough money, he decided to be quick before it was too late. The procedure was pretty easy. Chen Zhao signed the land purchase agreement, notarized it, and then paid the deposit. All the formalities took less than an hour. After he finished everything, he finally felt relieved. Then, he went to the fitness center for the boxing class. Gaia asked Chen Zhao curiously, Chen, did you encounter a windstorm yesterday on the sea? How did you know? Coastal Rescue Team. One of my former students is working there. I saw the photos of you and another girl being sent to the team. They sent out at least 100 search and rescue ships for you. Yup. Luckily, I came back alive, Chen Zhao said. Great. How do you feel now? Not half bad. Suddenly, Chen Zhao's phone rang. Excuse me. Help. Chen, come here now. Hearing the screams from the phone, Chen Zhao's face darkened immediately. It was obviously none other than Dell. Chapter 200, This isn't looking for trouble, it's a sin. Chapter 200, This isn't looking for trouble, it's a sin. Gaia looked at Chen Zhao. Your patient seems to have an emergency. It looks like I can't have class today, Chen Zhao said helplessly. He was curious as to what trouble Dell found for himself today. This guy really didn't know how to choose the right timing or differentiate for severity. He sounded strong in the phone, but he might keel over the next second. This was why Chen Zhao didn't wait and just hurried to Dell's manor. When he got to the entrance, he found Dell standing there. He looked strong and not like he'd almost gotten himself killed. Did something happen to Tsura? Chen Zhao asked tentatively. No, she's okay. Then where is she? And you were screaming for help in the phone. What happened? Hurry in. Before going in, Tsura ran out with messy hair and dark circles under her eyes. I'm not playing anymore, you asshole. Del, play by yourself. I'm done. I'm done, she yelled fanatically. What are you two playing? Chen Zhao looked at how frazzled Tsura looked. It couldn't be fatal, right? Chen, you're here, you're finally here, Tsura complained while latching onto Chen Zhao. Great. I thought I was going to go crazy. What exactly is happening? You'll see when you come in. Tsura pulled Chen Zhao in. Before entering the mansion, he heard a cry. Chen Zhao froze. You two have a kid. After he got in, he saw a baby girl tossed onto the sofa. Her lower body was bare, the living room was in a mess, and there was a disgusting smell. Chen Zhao immediately held his nose. What exactly happened? Tsura and I decided to adopt a kid for fun. Chen Zhao picked up his foot to kick Del's left leg. Adopt a kid for fun. No, no. When we went to the orphanage, we thought that this baby was pitiful, so we adopted her. Del immediately changed his story. Chen Zhao scrutinized Del. When Del saw his eyes, he was scared. He suspected that Chen Zhao might kill him. You need to be a married couple to adopt, right? Singles can't adopt. To adopt Faith, we went and got a marriage certificate, Del said. Tsura and I. Chen Zhao was taken aback. He didn't expect that Del would actually marry Tsura just to adopt a kid. You two got married to adopt this kid. But I give up. Chen, you can have the kid. I don't want it. You think I won't kill you? Chen Zhao was furious. As expected, wanting this horrible couple to be responsible was delusional. I really can't take care of her. Tsura and I haven't slept in 2 days. We can't even change her diaper. The entire living room was filled with the smell of waste. No wonder they'd broken down. Why didn't you hire a nanny? Chen Zhao asked, expression dark. This asshole either thinks the applicants don't have big enough boobs or nice enough asses, Tsura complained. Chen Zhao looked at the baby called Faith. She probably hadn't had a bath in 2 days and smelled horrible. He could only pick her up, help bathe her and then change her diaper. Thankfully, Faith didn't have any diseases or injuries after being tormented by Tsura and Del these days. This was her biggest fortune. Being adopted by this couple and surviving their instincts of finding trouble was a big test for her. Find a nanny right now. I hope you can find one before I leave. Otherwise, I'll report you for child abuse. I already looked, but I couldn't find any. Bullshit. Were you looking for a nanny or a beauty contestant? Chen Zhao almost spat his water out at Del. Call the housekeeping company right now. Finally, Del gave in. He had no choice because he and Tsura really couldn't handle Faith. They couldn't even take care of themselves, let alone an infant less than 1 year old. Half an hour later, the applicants finally arrived. Chen Zhao was stunned by the wave of beauties. Were these girls with thick makeup really here to apply for the nanny position? Del, don't tell me you called a model company. Chen Zhao stared at him, annoyed. No, I told the housekeeping company my requirements and I'll give $100,000 each month. What? Are you crazy? Chen Zhao roared. A regular nanny that took care of kids and did the chores for 24 hours per day and had 2 days off per week would only earn $3,000 to $5,000 per month. Del's $100,000 was enough to hire 20 nannies. This wasn't a regular expense. This was a complete waste of money. Chen Zhao walked to the girls. None of you are qualified. You can all leave now. The beautiful girls all left while cursing. Del had a face of resentment. Chen, you told me to look for a nanny and now you drove them away. I thought a few were quite good. Not good at all, Chen Zhao said, expression dark. If you spend the $100,000 to host a party for beautiful girls, I don't care. But you spend $1,000 to buy a pretty hamburger. But who will take care of the baby, now that you chased them away? Wait, I'll call someone. Chen Zhao called Bant. Bant, Mary's a maid now, right? Yes. How much does she make per month? She works by the hour and makes around $2,000 per month. I have a friend who needs a nanny to take care of their kid. It'll take a lot of time, but the pay is quite high. Can Mary do it? What's the pay? Bant asked immediately. Chen Zhao turned to Del. What's the pay? $5,000, as long as she can take care of the kid. $5,000, Chen Zhao said. They're a young couple and like fooling around. They can't take care of kids. Okay, I'll tell Mary. Can you hold the position for her? Can you have Mary come over right now? It's urgent. Okay, I'll call her now. Give me the address. A while later, Mary came over. She hugged Chen Zhao, saying, Chen, thank you. Let me introduce you to Del and Sura. And this is Faith. Your task is to take care of her. As for those two, call me if they're about to die. Hello, Mary. I'm glad you could come. Sura hugged Mary as well. Del found that Mary was easy on the eyes despite being older, so he didn't say anything. Chapter 201, A Killer Whale's Diet. Chapter 201, A Killer Whale's Diet. If it was just the irresponsible couple Del and Sura, Chen Zhao would not really care. However, they had a kid now. Even if they did not bother about their own lives, they should at least think about the kid. Next, Chen Zhao went to conduct the delightful task of torturing another person, that is, the slimming session. Mr. Doman, I apologize for not showing up yesterday without telling you. I promise it won't happen again. Mr. Chen, I know what happened. You don't need to feel sorry. Oh, do you know already? Yes. Mr. Rasfa and I are good friends. I'm happy that you and Manny returned safely. Chen Zhao smiled. Actually, before Mr. Doman asked him to help his daughter lose weight, Mr. Doman must have checked his background. Is Norman's ready for today? She's never ready, Mr. Doman laughed. I'll leave everything to you. When Chen Zhao pushed Norman's door open, she was lying on the floor like a dead fish. Is this your way of welcoming me? Asshole. Eat this. Then we'll start the session today. Norman's took the apple and wolfed it down. Then, she stood up lazily. Knowing that she could not resist Chen Zhao, she could only listen to his instructions. Where are we going? Norman's realized that Chen Zhao had brought her out of the manor, although she did not say that she wanted to train outside. She had an ominous feeling about it. I'll bring you to a fun place, Chen Zhao answered with a bright smile. Norman's clearly did not believe that Chen Zhao would bring her out to play. Isn't this Mr. Rasfa's manor? Why are we here? Chen, how can I help you? Paul was surprised by their arrival. I've told Rasfa that I'm bringing someone here today. We'll be using his beach for a while, Chen Zhao said. Of course, Paul nodded. Chen Zhao was a frequent guest here, so he did not need to do much. Do you need me to bring you there? No, I know the way. Normans followed Chen Zhao to the beach. Do you want me to run here? Or maybe swim in the sea? Here, your swimsuit. When did you keep it? You pervert. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. Before you call me a pervert, you better look at yourself. Normans gritted her teeth at Chen Zhao's merciless humiliation. Even though she was already used to Chen Zhao's mocking, she still could not stop being angry. After Norman's changed to her swimsuit, Chen Zhao snapped his fingers. Into the sea. Normans could not remember what was the last time she played in the sea. Seawater was denser than pure water, so it was easier to swim in the sea. Nevertheless, the raging waves in the sea could easily cause accidents. Soon, Normans realized that she was already in the deepwater zone. She was about to return to the shore when she saw a black shadow approach her in the sea. Moreover, it was on her return path. Shocked out of her wits, she swam towards the deeper part of the sea at once. Ah! There's something underwater. Asshole, come and save me. However, Chen Zhao continued to float along the currents, unhurried. Normans turned her head and saw the huge thing again, as well as its dorsal fin. Killer whale. Norman's head went blank. Killer whales were true killers. Nothing in the sea could beat them. The prey they targeted was dead for sure. Swim fast. Do you want to die? Chen Zhao urged. You asshole. This is murder. You knew that there's a killer whale here and you still asked me to come. Swim faster. A killer whale's favorite food is seal, because they contain large amounts of fats in their bodies, just like you. Killer whales are very sensitive to the smell of fats. Asshole, asshole, asshole. Terrestrial creatures would never be able to outswim marine creatures. This was the result of billions of years of evolution. The distance swum by Normans in a minute with all her strength could be covered by a killer whale by simply waving its tail. Master, I'm so tired. Can I rest for today? Listening to Amon's message, Chen Zhao's face darkened. Both of you, just go and fucking die. If you dare to stop, I'll make you die of exhaustion. Tired. 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 I wanna die. Finally, Normans also stopped. Just let me die here. Normans turned around and saw Chen Zhao standing on the surface of the sea. You, what? Then, she discovered the killer whale Chen Zhao was standing on. You. It. Forgot to introduce to you. He's Amon. Did you tame him? That depends on your definition of tame. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Normans roared, slapping the surface of the sea furiously. Just now, she really thought she was about to be eaten. You swam too fast. I couldn't find a chance to tell you. Bullshit. You even told me a killer whale's diet. Did I? Can't remember. It's deliberate. You did it on purpose, you bastard. Asshole. Relax. Do you want to come up? After Normans calmed down, she was still rather scared. Are you sure that he won't eat me? Definitely not. Don't worry. Can I really go up? Come. Chen Zhao pulled Normans up to Amon's back, after which he patted Amon. Amon, let's go. Normans felt somewhat uneasy. Amon brought her and Chen Zhao further and further away from the coastline. Finally, Amon stopped. From their position, they could no longer see the coastline. The entire Beverly Hills had been reduced to a mere outline. Why did we stop here? Just then, Amon dived into the sea. Normans fell into the water again. Where's Amon? He went to the toilet. It's urgent. Normans looked at Chen Zhao with her face darkening. Are you going to ask me to swim back? Or you can wait for Amon to finish and bring you back. When I return to the shore, I'll kill you. I'll definitely, fucking kill you. Norman started to swim. She had no other choices. In the sea, staying afloat at the same spot was even more tiring than swimming. Zhao slowly followed behind Norman's. While Norman's was already exhausted, she actually still had the energy to speak. The entire journey was filled with her incessant cursing. However, Zhao was long immune to Norman's cussing. Instead, he kept provoking her further. Faster, faster. We can't make it in time for dinner. Do you still want dinner? I don't think so. When Norman stood on land again, she almost cried out in excitement. Nevertheless, there was a more pressing issue to settle. Norman's leaped at Zhao and pressed him into the water. Chapter 202, Coincidental Meeting with Vincent. Chapter 202, Coincidental Meeting with Vincent. After throwing a tantrum, Norman's lay onto the sofa to rest. Zhao massaged his face. Next time you use your nails, I'll toss you to Hawaii and you can swim back. I'll use a knife next time. Where will you hide your knife? In your saggy meat. After these days of hard work, Norman's had lost a lot of fat. Her skin was now loose and saggy. When she was done with the weight loss plan, she would definitely need plastic surgery. Get up and put the shirt on. We'll run back. Norman's put on the shirt and started running behind Zhao. Hey, asshole. What do I have to do to get skinny faster? Oh. Zhao turned around to look at her. Are you sure? Yeah, I want to hurry up. I don't want to keep getting tortured by you, pervert. Then I'll change the schedule starting tomorrow. No, today. Are you sure? I'm sure. The two most effective ways to lose weight is just dieting and exercise. The food should be nutritious with low carbs. Exercise should be consistent. Then I won't eat and I'll increase the exercise. No, you still have to eat. If you exercise without replenishing sugar, it'll lead to low blood sugar. That's why I have you eat an apple before starting. When you exercise, you truly start to burn fat after around 30 minutes. You first start to burn glucose, which moves fat. Without glucose, you won't even be able to move. What did you add in the water you gave me yesterday? Sugar. Enough sugar can speed up the burning of fat and act as a stimulant. Only sugar. What do you think? You better not give me any drugs. Otherwise, I'll make life unbearable for you in L.A. How old are you? You still like playing make-pretend. Zhao rolled his eyes. This was Norman's first time requesting to add more exercise. It was a big improvement. This also lessened Zhao's workload. Norman suspected that Zhao put something in her water. It was actually a tiny bit of a strength potion. It was a very small amount, but it could make Norman stronger. It also used up more energy though. It was like how Zhao and David now ate 2 or 3 times more than regular people. Norman's couldn't eat that much though, so she had to digest herself and turn fat into energy. Zhao always had Norman's do aerobic exercise. Jogging and swimming were the most common aerobic sports. Non-aerobic exercise was mostly used for building muscle, which Norman's didn't need. It could also cause muscle fatigue and produce more lactic acid. This wasn't suitable for Norman's to continue exercising, so aerobic sports were the best for her. After returning to the manor, Norman's weighed herself. She was now 258 pounds, more than 20 pounds lighter than yesterday. Even Norman's was shocked at this weight loss speed. Thinking a bit, she started running around Carrie's lawn. She kept running even without Zhao beside her. Doman was surprised at his daughter's changes in both mind and body. She was like a new person each day. Doman kind of regretted not calling Zhao earlier. A taxi stopped before Chen Zhao and a familiar guy poked his head out. Hi, Chen. Vincent, how come you're still driving taxis? I do it occasionally. Vincent smiled brightly. Going home. Chen Zhao got in the car. How's everything? How's being an actor? Because of Mr. Steven's recommendation, I acted in 4 movies and 1 TV show. They haven't aired yet though. The TV show is Deep Sea. It's airing next week on BBC. I'm a scientist in there. Chen, remember to tune in. Sure. Chen Zhao nodded with a smile. With Vincent's current status, he probably could only have roles that lived for 2 episodes. It wasn't that Chen Zhao looked down on Vincent. It was just the reality of the film and TV industry. Do you have a management company now? Not yet. You should find one as soon as possible. That way, you can get even better resources. I want to, but no company wants me. Chen Zhao thought for a moment. If you don't mind, I can help you ask, but I can't promise anything. Chen, you even know people from management companies. One of my patients. Vincent brought Chen Zhao to his house and didn't take his money. When Chen Zhao went in, he saw that Fei Lai had already cooked dinner as if she was a good wife. Fei Lai kissed Chen Zhao lightly. Wash your hands. Eat dinner. They were both used to sitting on the couch or ground in the living room to eat. It was the same even when David and the others were here. Fei Lai, I need to tell you something. What? Don't tell me you cheated on our first day. Oh, please. I wanted to tell you that I bought the land around Mirror Lake. You really bought it? Yes. How much? $400,000. I already paid a $100,000 deposit. So you plan on settling down here? Yeah, I plan on building a house next to Mirror Lake. A big house, so White Ma and Black Ma can run freely and play in the water. Oh, Robio studies architecture. You can have him help design. Chen Zhao's eyes brightened. If that was the case, he could save on the design cost. He was counting his pennies now because he really didn't have much cash left. He had $200,000 at most. Plus, he had to pave an asphalt road before building a house. Mirror Lake was 2 kilometers from the road outside. It wasn't far, but if he wanted to build a house, the construction trucks had to go in. He would need a road if he wanted to live there too. 2 kilometers of an asphalt road along with the manpower would cost around $200,000. Asphalt was twice as expensive, but it had better plasticity. Of course, Chen Zhao would also earn more money after a while. He actually could start the construction now. It wasn't like he had to pay everything up front. He could start paving the road first, so when he started building the house, things wouldn't drag along. Since he wanted to do this, it had to be good. Chen Zhao planned on building the best house he could within his current financial abilities. Chapter 203, Reporter. Chapter 203, Reporter. Robio, can you help me with something? Chen Zhao called Robio. What? Help me to design a house. Yes. What price are you looking at? Robio asked. Within $1 million, including the workers. Robio gasped, are you building a palace? What did it mean for the building cost of a house to be $1 million? Even the bungalow that Chen Zhao and Fei Lai were staying at would only cost tens of thousands to build. Of course, their current house was very old. The houses of most middle-class people cost about $200,000 to build. In many TV shows, luxurious houses could easily cost tens or hundreds of millions, but it was only because they had the best locations and facilities. Sometimes, a golf course alone would cost more than $10 million. The house itself in fact cost far less than tens of $1,000,000. Therefore, a house that cost $1 million to build was truly deluxe. Oh, how much does it cost to build a palace? Robio kind of disliked rich people like Zhao, especially when he had earned so much after just half a year in America. Anyway, Robio was Zhao's friend and also owed him a favor, so he could not reject Zhao's request. When are you free? Bring me to the place. I need to take some photos before being able to design the house. Architecture is much more complicated than merely drawing a diagram on a sheet. The basics include mechanics and material science. In addition, the environment has to be a foil to the building. In particular, villas and manors need ingenious designs. An architect without sufficient imagination is not a good architect. After making an appointment with Robio, Zhao hung up. However, he immediately received a call from Dell. Chen, do you know Rufford? The winner of the Elite League this year. He ran 9.7 seconds for 3 consecutive 100m sprints. How do you know that I know him? Zhao was puzzled. It's everywhere on the media, including photos of you entering Rufford's apartment. Even your identity as an illegal doctor has been exposed. What? Zhao was flabbergasted. He did not know about it at all. Rufford has no agency or agent now, right? Dell asked something else. Why? Can you help me to make an appointment between Rufford and my company? Your company? Aren't you just one of the shareholders of CA? Also, you don't really manage your company, am I right? It's not that I don't want to manage my company, but rather I don't have sufficient power. If I can get Rufford, my influence in CAA will increase significantly. I can help you to make an appointment with Rufford, but you need to help me too. What? I know a new actor. He's played some small roles in several films, but he has no agency too. Help me to attach him to your company. What's his name? Vincent. A TV series called Deep Sea is about to be shown on BBC. He's the scientist inside. Alright, I'll pay attention to him. As long as he's suitable, I can sign him under my company. Do you have his number? I'll give it to you. When Zhao returned to his house, he heard Fei Lai making a call. Dad, I need money, 200,000. Can you lend me? Yes. I know. Okay. Zhao opened the room door and Fei Lai immediately hung up. Chen. Fei Lai, you were borrowing money from your family. Chen, you're building a new house, our home. I want to make some contributions too. Fei Lai, I have enough money, except that I have yet to receive it. You don't need to borrow from your family. Chen. Believe me, will you? But my dad has already agreed. Then call him again. Zhao felt that as a man, he should contribute more. It was only the first day that Fei Lai and he were officially dating, and Fei Lai was already borrowing money from her family. Zhao thought it was a blow to his self-esteem. He hoped that he could build a house with his own hard work and ability, not with the help of his girlfriend. In that case, they might as well stay at the current place. Regardless of how much we each pay, it'll still our new home, together. Alright, Chen. That night, Fei Lai seemed to be exceptionally passionate. Her endurance had also increased decently. After a tiring workout, the two slept in each other's arms. The next morning, Zhao went to Ethan's motel directly. Because of what Fei Lai had done the previous day, Zhao was even more eager to make money. Caprice. What a surprise to see you here so early. Zhao was clearly surprised by Caprice's presence. Caprice looked rather energetic and casual. Chen, I came here to thank you. Zhao grabbed the burgers from the counter and started eating. For what? I went to see Philip Quinn just now. From afar, I could already hear his hysterical screams. Caprice looked rejuvenated, as if she had just slept with 10 strong men the previous night. Chen, half of his body seems to be rotting away. How did you do it? I didn't do it. It must be God's will. Fine. I won't ask any more. Caprice smiled. Just then, Ethan walked out from the inside and glanced at Caprice. Why are you still here? The last time they met each other, they had the same enemy. However, once it was over, they became completely hostile towards each other again. Chen, work with me. I know more people and can offer you more clients. Caprice tried to steal Chen Zhao away right before Ethan. You mean those people from the prison? You sure they won't cut Chen into slices? This former couple started arguing again. Chen Zhao admired the humiliations and curses from the two as he enjoyed his free breakfast. The cuss words they used were always new, innovative, and never repeating. Even their son, Robio, became the weapon they used to attack each other. The innocent Robio was involved for no reason. Chen Zhao wondered how Robio would feel if he knew what was happening. Looks like there's nothing for me here. I'm going to the fitness center. After listening to the duo performance for an hour, Chen Zhao already felt rather bored. However, the moment he left the motel, he saw a woman walk towards him. Hi, Mr. Chen, can I interview you please? Are you a reporter? I'm a reporter for the Los Angeles Times. Sorry, I'm busy. Chen Zhao turned around and flagged a cab. However, he realized that the reporter was still following him in her car. Chapter 204, Boxing Class. Chapter 204, Boxing Class. When Chen Zhao reached the gym, that reporter appeared before him again. Mr. Chen, you're an illegal doctor, right? Did you give Rufford illegal drugs? His improvement is shocking. Does this have anything to do with the medicine you gave him? In this country, reporters were the true kings. They could twist any sentence to fit their goal. Who told you I'm a doctor? I'm not. If Chen Zhao admitted that he was a doctor, the public health department wouldn't be the first to find him. It would be the IRS. How scary is the American IRS? There was a rumor that the IRS got their eyes on a drug lord for tax evasion. When he finally got arrested, it was because the IRS found evidence while even the FBI couldn't. One could imagine how frightening the IRS was. Mr. Chen, Mr. Rufford admitted it himself. Admit what? I know Rufford, but that doesn't mean I gave him treatment. Mr. Chen, are you doing this to hide the fact that you gave Mr. Rufford steroids? If Rufford used steroids, the IAAF and anti-doping organization can come for me. If you have evidence, please take it out. Otherwise, wait for my lawyer's message. A lawyer's message didn't actually have any legal effect. It was basically just a threat to attack if the other kept going. Kate gritted her teeth at Chen Zhao. This Chinese man was more troublesome than she'd expected. His answers were seamless. Mr. Chen, if you're worried about your identity being exposed, I can ensure to keep your identity hidden. What identity? I'm just a Chinese man working in America on a green card. If you keep making harmful guesses, I'll report you for harassment, defamation, and racism. When did I act racist? Anybody would be in trouble if they were found to be racist. Even the godly reporters didn't dare to touch that line. If she was sued for this crime, she would lose her job even if she wasn't found guilty. Chen Zhao was just showing off. If Kate wanted to make his life hard, he would do the same. I just feel like you're being racist, Chen Zhao said matter-of-factly. Racism was a true problem, but some minorities also felt that any offenses toward them was racism. Kate stared at Chen Zhao's back and clenched her fists. Chen Zhao entered the gym. He waved to all the people he was familiar with. He was well known here too. After all, not many dared to have Gaia be their coach. Gaia was currently teaching a student in the ring. That student was 6 feet tall, like Chen Zhao. His weight was similar too. However, he was much weaker. Gaia held up a pad with one hand and didn't even budge when the student's fist hit it. If it was Chen Zhao, Gaia would need to hold the pad with both hands. Harder, harder. Too weak, Anderson. Did you eat breakfast? Or did you use all your energy on girls? Gaia pushed the student's fists away with the pad. The student took 2 unsteady steps back. Okay, Anderson. Go take a rest. Gaia patted his shoulders. Chen, put on your gear and come practice. When Gaia and Chen Zhao practiced, Chen Zhao was the defense. He took the pad and put on protective gear. Up, down, left, right, left, up. Gaia would tell Chen Zhao where she was attacking before she did so. Then Chen Zhao would do the appropriate defense. After 15 minutes of training, they were both sweating. Anderson offered them water and patted Chen Zhao's arm. Chen, how come we have similar build but our strength and speed are so different? He wanted to learn Chen Zhao's ways. Maybe it's because I exercise often, Chen Zhao said. I'm a coach too, so maybe I'm more familiar with how to make myself stronger. Similar build didn't mean that they had the same power. There was still the problem of fat ratio. A regular person had around 10% to 12% body fat. Athletes had around 5%, while the top athletes could reach 3 or 4%. Instead, it got in the way of labor. However, thousands of years later, the human body still hadn't become completely removed from the primitive state. Being overly strong could actually shorten the lifespan. For example, many athletes were talented, but the talent was only for unleashing potential. Throughout their career, they could become faster and stronger, but after their golden age, their bodies would deteriorate quickly. The injuries and ailments accumulated throughout their career would start attacking their bodies. Anderson and Chen Zhao chatted for a while. Chen Zhao learned that Anderson was an amateur hobbyist. His goal seemed to be to join an official competition, but his potential was so-so. Anderson, go against Chen and feel his power, Gaia said. They both put on protective gear and Anderson felt the entirety of Chen Zhao's heavy fist. Even though Chen Zhao had held back, he was still forced back each time. Anderson, Chen, switch. Anderson attack, Chen defend. The two switched positions. Anderson's feeling changed again. Rather than fighting against a human, it was like he was facing an unmoving wall. Gaia was both of their coaches, so she obviously knew their differences. Chen Zhao's fitness was too amazing. Even Gaia might not be able to win against him for pure strength, let alone someone average like Anderson. Getting off the ring, the three rested and drank water at the window. Gaia, Anderson said. How can I become like Chen Zhao? Gaia glanced at Chen Zhao. In terms of fitness, there's barely any way of surpassing Chen. You can only go from technique. Is there any way of improving in technique? Keep practicing, Gaia said. There's no cheating method. Even geniuses have to keep working hard. You're not a genius, so if you want to become a professional fighter, you have to work even harder. My suggestion is that you find a professional boxing coach. Chapter 205, Norman's Down and Out. Chapter 205, Norman's Down and Out. Let's go and have lunch together. After changing to their own clothes, Chen Zhao and Anderson walked out of the fitness center together. I can't. I still have to go and fetch my son. All right. See you. Eating alone was the most boring thing ever. Zhao called Fei Lai and they had a romantic chat. Then, he went to buy a few burgers. Because Normans wanted more exercise, Zhao had to go there earlier. Today, Normans was actually already in her sportswear, but she also had a jacket outside. The slimming sessions over the last few days had consumed much of her fats. As a result, the skin on her belly looked extremely shriveled. It would be very ugly to leave it exposed, so she had to hide it. Today's exercise is cycling. We'll go along the road by the sea, and then come back. The whole journey should take 5 hours, Zhao said. Eat this apple first. When the two cycled out of the manor, Zhao received a call. Chen, business for you. It was Ethan. I'm at Mr. Doman's place. I'm busy. Big client. How big? 30,000. Zhao raised his eyebrows. Turning his head, he said, Normans, we're changing the route. Asshole. Normans had heard everything. Given that the client could pay $30,000, he or she was certainly quite wealthy. Zhao stopped before a magnificent villa and rang the doorbell. The door opened slightly. Zhao could tell from the gap through the door that it was a very beautiful lady. The lady saw an Asian, a fat woman, and a dog outside her door. Who are you? I'm the doctor from Ethan. Then how about her? She's my assistant. Bullshit. When did I become your assistant? Normans did not cooperate with Zhao at all. It's her first day of work. She's not used to it yet, Zhao said with a smile. Selena. You're Selena Goffey. Suddenly, Normans recognized the lady before her. Zhao was clearly stunned. Do you know each other? Normans. Selena looked at the incredibly inflated woman before her, uncertain. Selena did not know what Normans looked like a few days ago. If she did, she would be surprised at why Normans was so thin instead. Why are you? Selena and Normans were from the same college. She knew how wealthy Norman's family was. But why would the previously white, rich, and beautiful girl become so fat? And she's now an assistant for an illegal doctor? Is her family bankrupt? A smile appeared on Selena's face. The golden phoenix had fallen, but she had become famous. Such an enormous twist in their lives made Selena excited for some reason. Come in. Selena opened the door, displaying her luxurious house before the two. Don't walk around unnecessarily. My house is big and has many valuable items. If anything goes missing, I'll call the police. Normans and Zhao rolled their eyes at the same time. Glancing at Selena, Zhao asked Norman softly, who's she? A small star in Hollywood. Acted in 2 movies before and only half famous, but compared to most women in Hollywood, she's already considered successful. Zhao nodded and more or less understood what was going on. Miss Selena, where's my patient? Selena brought Zhao and Normans to a room and pushed the door open. Zhao saw a maid covered in blood. It seemed like she had been bitten by some kind of beast in the abdomen. Frowning, Zhao walked up to check the maid's injury. The maid was indeed gravely injured and had signs of shock. What was she bitten by? Zhao inspected the wound on the maid's abdomen. The flesh on her wound had almost been torn away completely. Apart from treating the maid, Zhao had to confirm what she had been bitten by, as well as whether the animal carried any bacteria or infections. Many wild animals carried a multitude of pathogens because of their habits or environment. Once they bit someone, the person might develop many complications or syndromes. Inflammation was the weakest of them. The problem would be much more severe if there was a viral infection. Do you have ice? Yes, I'll go and take it. Selena took some ice cubes. Zhao wrapped them with a piece of cloth and placed it on the maid's forehead. Then, he started cleaning the maid's wound. Meanwhile, he turned his head and looked at Selena. So what bit her? Selena remained silent, unwilling to talk about it. Zhao looked at Selena again. Your maid will probably die. I suggest sending her to the hospital. Her body temperature is abnormally high. Maybe it's because the animal that bit her has some disease and transmitted it to her. No. You can't send her to the hospital, Selena rejected at once. If the media finds out that my pet has caused my maid to be injured, I'll be defamed by them. Selena was rather selfish. Of course, most people were like this. Anyway, because her maid was bitten by her own pet, she could not run away from the responsibility. Zhao recalled the woman called Daly Simpson. She and her adopted daughter had been in a similar situation. Nevertheless, her daughter had injured herself, so it was not really Daly's fault. Selena's case was different. Her pet had bitten someone and hence, she was legally responsible. Now, either show me the pet that bit her and let me check if your pet has any diseases, or I'll send your maid to the hospital, Zhao said. I can give you more money. Don't tell anyone about it. Zhao glanced at the Selena. He indeed needed money, but if he kept this a secret, the maid would probably die, unless he could confirm that she had no viral infections. Wouters in the backyard, Selena finally said very reluctantly. Normans followed Zhao to the backyard. They saw a near-adulterated wolf which was apparently over 40 kilograms in weight. He was fairly large. Zhao took a step forward. The wolf called Wouter stood near a corner, looking rather scared. Standing behind them, Selena reminded, Wouter doesn't like strangers. Zhao looked at Wouter and waved his hand gently. Wouter stared hesitantly at Zhao, after which he carefully walked towards Zhao. Normans was surprised. She knew that Zhao had a high affinity for pets, but it was the first time she saw it at work. He was able to get close to a wolf the first time they met. Selena was rather amazed too. Usually, nobody would dare to go close to Wouter like this. As a result, Wouter had become somewhat aloof. He was very fierce towards anyone but her. However, Zhao managed to easily friend Wouter. Chapter 206, Reporter's Imagination. Chapter 206, Reporter's Imagination. It wasn't hard to determine whether a canine had rabies. The symptoms were pretty obvious, so after Zhao was mostly sure after contact that Wouter didn't have rabies. Wouter might have bitten the maid because she did something unfriendly. Wolves and dogs didn't actually have that big of a difference, but humans instinctively feared wolves. Wouter felt this fear and distrust. It hadn't interacted with the outside world yet, so it didn't know how to act with others and felt lonely. Of course, for safety precautions, Zhao still extracted some of Wouter's saliva to test. Just then, Norman suddenly said, Selena, how about you sell me Wouter? Can you afford it? Selena looked at her arrogantly. $10,000. You think that's enough for me? 20,000, 30,000. Normans kept raising the price. Still not satisfied. 50,000 is my last price. She narrowed her eyes. If you don't agree, I'll make sure you can't survive in Hollywood. Selena furrowed her brows at Normans. Your family didn't go bankrupt. Ha, asshole, you tell her, Norman said, pointing at Zhao. She's my temporary assistant. Most of the time, I'm her coach. Weight loss coach. Selena's expression turned awkward. She realized that her previous words had offended Norman's. Norman's family wasn't a simple wealthy family. If she really wanted to make Selena's life hard, she'd be unable to do anything other than being a porn star in San Fernando Valley. With Norman's family's abilities, they could definitely force her there. Do you promise you'll treat Wouter well? I don't need to promise you anything. What right do you have to demand anything? Norman's was like an aggressive diva now. Americans were materialistic. Rich people could do anything here, but Selena wasn't rich at all. Even this house was a rental. She wasn't indispensable in Hollywood either. Countless girls would come to Hollywood with their dreams every day. Selena could be replaced at any time. Her current success was fragile too. People merely remembered the role that she played. This role could be played by any girl. It was the role that gave life to her, rather than the other way around. Norman's one word could shatter Selena's success. Norman successfully received ownership of Wouter, but why do I have to carry your pet? And why are you riding while I'm running? I want you to train it for me. Make it as smart as White Ma and Black Ma, or like a Mon. I don't want my family to get hurt by it. I'm your weight loss coach, not your family's pet trainer. 100,000. You can afford that. No, but my dad can. Zhao was troubled. He really wanted to yell at Norman's that he didn't want to serve her anymore, but he needed money more. Between going against his motives and money, he chose to go against his motives in the end. Plus, it wasn't really going against his motives. Making money was his motive, after all. How long do you need to train it? Not sure. Keep it at my house first. Do you need money really badly? Norman suddenly asked. Why are you asking me that? You want to insult me with your money? I'm not that bored. No, I actually don't mind if you insult me with your money, Zhao said shamelessly. Wouter was very friendly with Zhao, probably because he had Black Ma and White Ma's scent on him. Wolves couldn't use dog leashes, but it hadn't been trained yet, so Zhao didn't dare place it on the ground. If it started running, he might not be able to catch it. If it hurt someone, it would be even more troublesome. Because of today's accident, Norman's training intensity was lower than a few days ago. However, Zhao still planned some exercises for her. If she was determined, she would train by herself even if he wasn't with her. When Zhao walked out of Beverly Hills, a police car cruised by. It stopped in front of him. Chen, where you going? David poked his head out. Home. You want to bring me back? Sorry, I have to go meet an informer. David noticed Wouter in Zhao's arms. You have another new pet. It's not mine. I'm helping take care of it. I have to return it in a few days. Zhao patted Wouter's head. Wouter obviously liked it and made happy rumbles. Go work. How about you get in and I drive you back after work? Are you sure? Didn't you say you're meeting an informer? Would it be bad if I go? No, it's not some mafia mole. It's just someone who provided information for a case. Okay, let's go. Neither of them discovered the car following them. Kate followed the police car closely while talking to a recording pen. It is 3:55 p.m. The target has gotten onto a police car. He seems to be connected to the police. This might explain why the target hasn't been subject to legal sanctions after being an illegal doctor for so long. 4:15 p.m. They got off at a hairy bank. They seemed to be meeting with someone. Kate sat in the car and filmed with a high-definition camera. 4:20, they entered the bank. Kate also followed them inside, hiding the camera in her jacket. She held the recording pen in her other hand, constantly describing the situation. That person must be a bank employee. He walked into his own office and took out a roll of film. Are they undergoing some unspeakable exchange? Perhaps the Justice Department should investigate the police for corrupt officers. Just then, an incident occurred. A string of gunshots came from the hall. Four masked robbers charged into the bank. Kate felt someone yank her neck back. Heavy breaths sounded in her ears. Something pressed against her temple. I'm held captive. Kate's mind was completely blank. The bank security guard fell into a puddle of blood right before her. This evil group was robbing the bank. Chapter 207, David's Heroic Rescue. Chapter 207, David's Heroic Rescue. Chen Zhao was somewhat unhappy, because he had been held as a hostage too. More importantly, he was carrying Wouter in his arms. He did not whether he should let Wouter go at the moment. Kid, don't move, or I'll make a hole in your head. Actually, Chen Zhao would not dare to move even without the robber's reminder. Even though it was not the first time someone pointed a gun at his head already, it still felt terrifying. Courage was entirely meaningless in such a situation. It did not matter whether Chen Zhao had superb fighting tactics. Maybe Gaia could resolve the danger, but Chen Zhao could not. He was simply not strong enough. David had been treated as an ordinary bank customer and forced to stay with the other customers. He was not wearing his police uniform, so the robbers had no idea that he was a cop. The robbers who were holding Chen Zhao and Kate captive stood before the other customers. David kept peeking around. There were 5 robbers in total. He did not attack immediately. It was not difficult to kill the robber threatening Chen Zhao, but there was no way he could kill all of them at once. 3 of the robbers were holding hostages, namely Chen Zhao, Kate, and the lobby manager. The manager was forced to open the vault. After the vault was opened, a gunshot was heard from the inside. Soon, 3 robbers came out with 3 bags of money, but the lobby manager was nowhere to be seen. It was not hard to imagine what had happened to him. Suddenly, Chen Zhao saw David make a hand signal at him. Chen Zhao's face was filled with question marks. What do you mean? He tried to communicate with David using his eyes. What are you saying? However, David seemed to have misunderstood something. He secretly made a hand gesture. Okay. Okay, what? David, what do you want to do? David moved. He suddenly pounced towards the robber holding Kate. Kate was still in shock. She just heard a crack beside her and then felt someone pull her away. David tweaked the robber's arm upwards, breaking his arm directly. Then, he pulled Kate behind him. At the same time, the robber who had been holding Chen Zhao pointed his gun at David. Chen Zhao had to do something. He extended his hand and lifted the robber's gun-holding arm. Bang! The robber missed the shot. Chen Zhao threw the robber over his shoulder and then gave him a heavy kick. When the 3 robbers carrying the money saw their fellows under attack, none came to help. Instead, they charged out through the door. Bang! Bang! David fired his gun twice. One of the robbers collapsed onto the ground, but the other 2 had already escaped from the bank. He wanted to chase the last 2 robbers, but Kate held onto his body tightly like an octopus. Miss, are you all right? David asked. Kate remained in David's arms like an obedient little bird. She did not speak and kept her head lowered. Miss, can you stand by yourself? My legs feel soft, Kate said gently. Chen Zhao walked up and pulled Kate's head away from David. Why is it you? Do you know each other? She's a reporter. She accused me. Wait. Mister. Chen, that's only my job. Don't target me like this, Kate interrupted Chen Zhao. Mr. Police, I can't breathe. Chen, you're a doctor. Come and see what's happened to this lady. I'm not a doctor. Also, her condition is incurable. Miss, do you have a terminal illness? Estrus. Chen Zhao twitched his lips. Soon, the police came. They were all David's colleagues. After getting questioned by the police, Kate approached David carefully. David, can I interview you please? I'm busy now. I can wait for you. Kate's cheeks flushed and she did not even dare to look at David in his eyes. David, I'm going home first. Chen Zhao had finished the interview. He glanced at Kate and David, not wanting to interfere with their business. Kate clearly liked David. Chen Zhao did not want to be the bad guy. Let me send you back. Don't you have an interview later? I don't really want to. David was rather slow and actually could not see Kate's intention. Chen Zhao glanced at Kate. Actually, she was quite pretty. Normally, whenever David saw a beautiful lady, he would act like a mad dog, although it would often fail. Now a lady was chasing him herself, and yet he did not realize it. I can interview you on your car. Kate stared at David, her eyes glittering brightly. Tomorrow, the entire Los Angeles will know your heroic deed. Her look was filled with admiration. Chen Zhao had not even seen such a look on Fei Lai's face. Chen Zhao sat on the back seat, while Kate sat on the front passenger seat. Kate had been continuously asking David questions, from his age to his birthday, whether he had a girlfriend, and whom the people in his family were. She asked whatever she could. After David sent Chen Zhao to his house, he drove away with Kate. Kate, can I call you like this? Of course. Kate, what happened between you and Chen? Nothing. It's just a misunderstanding during work. Chen's my best friend. David was not stupid. He was just concerned about Chen Zhao's feelings. Alright, I get it. I promise I won't have another conflict with him again. David, let's date. You sure there won't be another misunderstanding? I can do anything for you. Your friend is my friend. Kate had always been a very rational person. She did not believe in love at first sight. However, the instant David saved her, she fell in love with him. Even when she looked at David, her eyes were only filled with wonder. The more rational a person was, the crazier she would get when she fell in love. Fei Lai realized that Chen Zhao had brought another wolf back. Although Wouter was already an adult wolf, he was much smaller than Black Ma and White Ma. Indeed, he was only half their size. When Black Ma and White Ma appeared before Wouter, he curled up in fear. Even Walter was 1.5 times as big as Wouter. Walter was really a giant dog at the moment. Moreover, he was still growing. With the current rate, he would probably at some point be bigger than Black Ma and White Ma. Apart from Black Ma, White Ma and Walter, Beelzebub, Carrie, Abitos and Raymond were all putting Wouter under much stress. In addition to the difference in their sizes, Chen Zhao's pets also had a special demonic smell. Wouter felt as though he was a lamb which had fallen into a wolf den. Is this your new pet again? Not mine. It's my friend's. I'm helping to look after him for a few days. Fei Lai was about to reach out to Wouter when Chen Zhao stopped her. He hasn't been domesticated yet. Also, he's only an ordinary wolf, unlike Black Ma and White Ma, so try not to touch him. Chapter 208, Intelligence Potion. Chapter 208, Intelligence Potion. At night, Chen Zhao gave Fei Lai the Banshee's charm so she could sleep peacefully. Then he took Wouter to the basement and entered Blackie's den. Chen Zhao had to create an intelligence potion for Wouter. It couldn't turn idiots into geniuses, but it could help make idiots less idiotic. It was mainly used on wild animals. However, in order to do so, he needed intelligence fruits. These fruits were only available in hell, so Zhao had to summon the evil traitor Raz. When Raz was summoned before Zhao, he seemed more terrified than last time. Raz. Zhao looked at him. Living Lord. Raz knelt down and bowed submissively. He was afraid that Zhao still held a grudge and would kill him. After all, there was no one kind beside Zhao right now. To demons, they would never give up once a conflict was born. Of course, Zhao wasn't that petty. At least, Raz was still useful. I'm not going to mess with you. I want to trade. Don't be so scared. Zhao smiled brightly. Living Lord, tell me whatever you need. Your lowly servant is willing to give you everything. Only an idiot would believe that a demon was willing to give up everything, especially a demon that was a true profiteer. Plus, Zhao didn't want to end the business. A trade had to have ins and outs. If he only gained without giving, that was robbery. What's the price of an intelligence fruit? One soul. Raz instinctively wanted to set a high price, but he quickly remembered that Zhao wasn't like before. He had other channels and he wasn't completely clueless about the prices. Plus, Zhao still had Raz's demonic ritual implement. If Zhao learned that he'd been scammed again, Raz would be dead. He was just a low-level demon trying to make a living in Beelzebub's territory while Zhao was Beelzebub's master. He was also Great Lord Beelzebub Zophi's esteemed guest. If Raz offended Zhao again, he really would have no way of surviving. Zhao looked at him. I don't have any souls right now. I'll pay you back later. Give me 10 intelligence fruits. No need. It's just a few souls. You don't have to worry about it. After sending Raz off, Zhao started concocting the intelligence potion. Since he was making it, he couldn't only make one serving. As Zhao's one and only favorite and Feilai's darling, Walter had to have a serving too. Chen. In the morning, Feilai woke up and realized she'd overslept. Her first thought was that Zhao had done something to her. Otherwise, with her biological clock, she definitely wouldn't oversleep. Every time Zhao used the Banshee's charm on her, she would sleep 12 straight hours. Feilai grabbed Zhao's arm on her and shook him awake. Ah, Feilai, morning. Zhao rubbed his puffy eyes. Morning your ass. What did you do yesterday? Why did I sleep 12 hours again? I didn't do anything. Liar. Feilai glared at him. Fine, I went to save the world. It was a stupid reply, but Feilai still believed him. No matter what you do in the future, you can't use a spell to make me sleep. Fine. Promise. Promise. Look at my eyes and say it. I promise that whether I go out to save the world or find another woman, I'll never make you fall asleep. You asshole. We've only been dating for how many days? And you're thinking of messing around outside. I'm going to make sure you never have the energy to do that. Reality proved that it was quite hard to make Zhao not have the energy to go outside. After more than an hour, Feilai gave up first. Aren't you going to work? Zhao asked. I forgot to tell you that Robio's coming today. Ah, you didn't tell me. I have to call the gym for a day off. Otherwise, that female dragon is going to torture me. To be honest, I really want to see what kind of woman can make you so scared. Zhao and Feilai had another round in the bathroom and wasted another half hour. Robio seemed to have calculated the right timing. He showed up when the two were mostly tidied up. Chen, Feilai, I didn't disturb you guys, right? Robio stood in the doorway. To be honest, if Robio wasn't gay, Zhao would be worried about Feilai working with him. He was excellent in practically every aspect. He had a high education, was cultured, friendly, loving, liked exercising, had a tall and fit body, and was handsome. Zhao couldn't think of any flaws. Robio was practically a perfect man. Robio knew early on that Feilai and Zhao were together. When Feilai went to work that day, he'd suspected something and got an answer after asking. He supported them dating. To him, there were only two types of people. The first were those that felt right, like Zhao and Feilai. They could become your friends and won't hurt you. The other type were his parents. They just didn't feel right. Ever since Robio could remember, he disapproved of the couple. After he grew up, it became worse and he practically cut all ties with him. He really didn't know when his parents would drag him down. However, he actually received his mother and father's call a few days ago. It was hard to believe that they would call him on the same day. After all, even on his birthday, only right would call him to send blessings. Caprice and Ethan never called him. That day, Ethan and Caprice said that if Zhao ever needed help, he had to help no matter what. His parents had never agreed on something like this before. Robio couldn't figure out why. No, maybe something had happened that made them fall into accord. Robio, want some milk? No, I ate breakfast before coming. Walter ran to Robio. He stood up, grabbed Robio and licked his face. Chen, did Walter grow again? He's just a kid. There's nothing strange about kids growing. Feilai poured milk into Walter's bowl, an entire 2.5-liter carton of milk. Robio was speechless. In dog years, Walter was definitely ancient. But after White Ma and Black Ma came over, he didn't find Robio big anymore. Compared to the silly twins, Walter was a tiny puppy. Chapter 209, Design for the New House. Chapter 209, Design for the New House. Zhao and Feilai brought Robio to Mirror Lake. Robio took in a deep breath. It's beautiful. From this mountain to this lake, and then the land here and the road outside. All these are mine, Zhao said proudly. Why did you buy such a large piece of land? I don't think the land here is suitable for agriculture or grazing. It's completely useless, Robio remarked. Zhao's face darkened. I don't want to hear such a depressing comment. I only want to hear something nice. This place has a pleasant scenery and fresh air. And then what? Robio rolled his eyes and continued to walk forward. Do you want to build your house here? Yes. This place is near the lake and there's even a waterfall at the side, so the humidity is rather high. When building the house, you have to use moisture-resistant materials, which also cost more, Robio said. Tell me your requirements. Chen, I hope that our new house will be more modern. I don't like those classic European styles. I'm firm about this. Agreed. I also like modern designs, Zhao nodded. It's great that the two of you have the same taste. I'm most scared of those families where every person has his or her own idea, Robio said. Can we incorporate the waterfall somewhere? Zhao asked. Robio shook his head. Best not to. I've studied the environment here. When it rains, the waterfall becomes much larger. Also, the soil here is rather soft, which encourages debris flow. If you build your house under the waterfall, it'll probably be buried at some point. All right. Forget about it then. Robio added, however, if you really want to include the water somewhere, we can create an underground pond connected to the lake. We can use a ring of glass to separate the basement from the water and add some fish to the lake as an ornament. Zhao's and Feilai's eyes brightened. They had to admit that as a professional designer, Robio indeed had better ideas. I already have a preliminary concept. The main building will be round, with 3 floors above the ground and 1 floor in the basement. The side facing the lake will be built with fully tempered glass, slightly slanted to withstand any hurricane from that direction. This can ensure the safety of the structure. As Robio spoke, he drew a design diagram. Of course, it was only a preliminary design. He still had to change it according to what Chen Zhao and Fei Lai wanted. I want another floor in the basement. I need it for something. Of course. Chen Zhao and Fei Lai began to bring forward their requests. Robio kept changing the drawing. That should be all. Great. When the diagram is finished, I'll show it to you. Then, you can look at the rendering and I'll also tell you the estimated cost of the house. How long will that take? Very soon. How about the construction company? I don't know any. I can recommend you an engineering company. It's owned by my ex-schoolmate. Robio said. All right. At noon, Robio stayed for lunch, after which he left. Chen Zhao also went out to conduct Norman's daily slimming session. 140 kilograms and 100 kilograms were 2 entirely different concepts. Norman's weight changed every day. Usually, the only thing that could achieve such an effect was liposuction. However, liposuction was very harmful to the body, and it might not even be as effective as Chen Zhao's slimming plan, because it would not drain all the fats at once. Instead, there would also be several sessions. Maybe a person would have her first session on the belly. After resting for some period, she would have it again on the hips. A few sessions later, when the entire process was completed, her whole body would be filled with scars. The biggest disadvantage of liposuction was that it could not be carried out on blood vessels. Fats would accumulate there too. Despite being able to slim down, there would be greater problems. Another method was to take weight loss pills. However, this was actually even more harmful. Most weight loss pills on the market would either induce severe diarrhea, reduce the appetite, or destroy a person's digestive system totally. Many people developed anorexia because of them. In the end, they only looked withered. Chapter 210, Sienna asks for help. Chapter 210, Sienna asks for help. When he got home, Fei Lai had already prepared dinner. She wasn't a traditional housewife though. They interacted just like before, but more casual and relaxed. Of course, when others weren't there, they were more intimate too. After dinner, the two grabbed beers and sat in the backyard. They enjoyed the peace and quiet. White Ma's injuries were much better. Chen Zhao had taken off the gauze, but there was still a glaring wound on his stomach. He couldn't do any intense exercise or else the wound would tear. Wouter grew familiar with them these days. He followed behind them all day like a lackey. However, the yard was a bit small while they were all big. Before, when there was only Beelzebub, Carrie and Walter, it felt okay. Now, the 3 huge Gaizabitos, Black Ma and White Ma were here and they could barely run. At that moment, Bant and Ken came over. They also had an Alaskan with them. Instead of going through the front door, they came in from the backyard. Chen, Fei Lai. You guys have a dog too now. Can you take care of it? We couldn't help it, Bant said, smiling. We saw your dogs and wanted one too. What's its name? Bobby, Ken replied. But he's kind of scared of your dogs. Maybe they aren't familiar with each other yet. Bobby was smaller than Wouter, but he was still a big dog. If he was by himself, he would look huge, but next to Black Ma and White Ma, he was just okay. Chen, I came to thank you for finding a good job for Mary. Please don't thank me every time you see me. I heard you bought the land at Mirror Lake, right? Yeah. Bant had been the first to know when Zhao got this idea. He'd asked Bant to help get information for it. You're going to build a house there? Yes. What about the furniture after that? Are you going to buy ready-made ones? Bant, do you have any suggestions? My old friend and I plan on opening a woodwork shop. If you need help, I can give you the best price. Of course, no problem. Since it was a new home, he would definitely have most of his furniture custom-made instead of buying those generic brands. Just then, his phone rang in the living room. Zhao got up. I'll go get the call. When he picked up, he realized it was Sienna. Chen, come help. I'm at UCLA. What's wrong? Didn't I tell you? My client is here and I've been here getting rid of evil spirits these days, but there are more now. They're much stronger than I'd expected. My client and I are stuck here. Okay, send me the exact location and I'll go right now. Putting down his phone, he went outside. Feilai, give me a ride. Bant, I'm sorry but a client is looking for me. I need to go. Okay, then we'll go too. Bye. Zhao got onto Feilai's car. He didn't bring any pets because Blackie was enough. What's wrong? Feilai asked. Sienna might be in trouble. It's dangerous. What's it this time? Demons? Or evil spirits? Feilai had suffered from the ghost ship last time, but she wasn't traumatized. She was still enthusiastic about paranormal activity, if it had nothing to do with her, of course. Outside the school, Zhao grew worried for Feilai. How about you stay inside the car? It's okay. I'm more worried if I'm alone in the car. If I'm with you, you can protect me. Okay. Zhao and Feilai went into campus. There weren't many people walking around at this time. When they reached the older part, they saw someone standing at the entrance. What are you here for? This is the Forbidden Zone. Are you the administrator here? Zhao studied the man. Zhao found him familiar, but he couldn't place where they'd met. Smith looked at Zhao with a similar look and feeling. They'd met somewhere before. I'm a lecturer here. Many things had happened in the old campus, so it's been sealed off for a while. Then why are you here? Zhao asked, looking at Smith. I just passed by. Smith often came to and from this place. He would occasionally meet students or other teachers and could deal with them easily. Ah, I remember. Smith was taken aback by Zhao's sudden exclamation. We've met before. Zhao cried. Where did we meet? Crossing the road a few days ago. Did you forget? You lost a coin. Smith furrowed his brows. He remembered after Zhao pointed it out. He'd wanted to toss the gold coin that day, but Zhao put it back into his hands. Oh, it's you. How have you been? Zhao was confused. He didn't know this man, so why was he asking? My friend is in there. I think she's in trouble, so we're going to look. Your friend? In trouble? Smith frowned. What trouble? I think she fell and hurt herself, Zhao said. We're here to help. Okay. Be careful when you go in. Smith didn't stop them. Feilai turned around to look at him. That guy feels weird. You think so too? I can't place it. Feilai shook her head. Blackie, do you think that man's strange? Zhao asked. Yes, strange. Blackie's answer was the same as Feilai's. Where? I can't place it. How come your answer is the same as Feilai? You can't say what's strange about him either, and me too. Nothing's weird about that. Let's go. We can't make Sienna wait too long. The two humans and Blackie came before an old building. Glancing at it, Blackie said, "There are so many evil spirits and they're all strange." "How so?" "Evil spirits stay in the human world because of some obsession, but these evil spirits don't have any. They're trapped here, they didn't stay because of their own will. Someone killed them." Blackie shook his head. "No, it looks like they died natural deaths." Chapter 211, Special Security Consultant. Chapter 211, Special Security Consultant. "Mr. Brewster, could you remain quiet, please?" At the moment, Sienna and the principal of UCLA, Louder Brewster, were trapped in an office. Sienna had cast a spell at the door to temporarily hide their smells. Louder's face was filled with horror. "Miss Sienna, you promised that you can definitely settle this problem, but not only did you not, you also caused me to be in danger. You're the one who followed me here. If you weren't here, I would have gone out alone and killed all those things," Sienna refuted. "Also, you haven't explained to me why there are so many evil spirits hiding in this old college building. Was there a massacre in your college?" "Nonsense. There have indeed been a few accidents here, but at most 1 or 2 people died each time. Now you're saying that there are hundreds of evil spirits outside. Are you trying to exaggerate the situation and then get more money from me? Then will you increase my pay? Don't even think about it." Suddenly, Sienna's phone rang. She quickly picked it up. "Hello, Chen." "Yes. Where are you?" "We're already in the abandoned college building." "We? You and Feilai? Are you an idiot? Why did you bring Feilai to such a dangerous place?" "She drove me here. I was too worried to leave her in the car, so I ended up bringing her along. We're trapped in the leftmost office on the top floor. I cast a spell on the door and we're safe for now." After Sienna hung up, Louder asked, "Who's coming?" "Reinforcement. Hope that your reinforcement can do something. I don't want another person to be trapped in this office. If even he can't solve the problem, you can start to prepare your will, but in your will, you better pay me my $10,000. "Chen, are there really evil spirits here?" Feilai held onto Chen Zhao's arm. Although it was very dark, Feilai was not scared at all. She felt very safe beside Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. With Blackie's speed, no evil spirit could even appear before Feilai, not to mention that Feilai could not see them anyway. When they reached the top floor, they walked along the corridor and opened a few doors. However, they did not see Sienna. Chen Zhao could only call her again. "Sienna, where exactly are you now? Why couldn't I find you? Didn't I tell you that I've cast a spell on the door? You should be able to crack the spell. Shouldn't it be simple?" "I'm amateur," Chen Zhao said helplessly. Sienna had only cast a simple illusion to trick the evil spirits. From the outside, the door to the office she was in looked like an ordinary wall. She thought that Chen Zhao could surely crack her spell easily, but he could not even find the correct place. "Looks like my spell is rather powerful." Sienna was very pleased. "Stop wasting time and cancel the spell now. What if evil spirits come in?" "I've finished most of them," Chen Zhao said. "How long have you been here again?" "There are 100 of them." "Is it? I didn't count." Sienna carefully removed the illusion spell and stuck her head outside the door to check the corridor. "Sienna's there." Chen Zhao and Feilai both saw Sienna's head. Chen Zhao waved his hand. "Sienna." Seeing Chen Zhao, Sienna also heaved a sigh of relief. She turned her head and said, "It's safe now. We can go out." Louder could finally leave the office and relax. "Have you killed all of them?" "Most of them. Some ran away, Zhao said. How many? Sienna asked. About 1/10, Zhao answered. Hi, I'm Louder Brewster, principal of UCLA. Louder made a handshake with Zhao. I'm Zhao, Chinese. This is my girlfriend. China, a mysterious nation. Are you interested in becoming a special security consultant at the college? Sorry, I have my own job. 10,000 a month. As long as you help me settle supernatural events, Louder added. Sienna's eyes glittered wildly. Zhao knew at once what she was thinking. Sorry, I'm only an amateur. My main occupation is a doctor. Ms. Sienna is more professional than me, Zhao rejected. But she couldn't even solve this kind of small problem. It's different. Zhao shook his head. I only know how to exorcise evil spirits. For the other parts, Sienna is much better than me. For example, I couldn't even find you just now because of her spell. Louder thought about it. Indeed, this seemed to be the case. Miss Sienna, then will you become our college's special security consultant? Your job will be to handle all the supernatural events here. Yes, but I need a personal assistant, Sienna said. The college has to pay her as well. If it's just an assistant, I accept. After all, Louder was the principal. He had enough power in the college. But you must solve the problem in this building first. Isn't it already solved? You said that some evil spirits ran away. What if they come back again? All right. I'll clean this place up, Sienna said. But you need to give me my pay for this mission first. To get her new job, Sienna had no choice but to accept the request. Her monthly salary would be 10,000, and Chris could also become her assistant. This could solve all their problems with spending. In addition, they no longer needed to stay at David's house. While David had never harassed them in his house, they still wished to move out. With a stable income, they could finally fulfill their wish. Moreover, most of the evil spirits in the abandoned building had been killed by Zhao. Sienna was confident that she could settle the rest of the herd. Of course, even in the worst-case scenario, she could still call Zhao again to finish the remaining spirits. Anyway, Zhao and Fei Lai rushed home to have their romantic time. Chen, why didn't I see you attack at all? Were there really evil spirits in that abandoned building? Fei Lai asked. She felt that it was more like a stroll at night than entering a haunted building. Chapter 212, Mexican Gang. Chapter 212, Mexican Gang. In the morning, Zhao went to Sean's family manor. It was his second treatment for old Sean and received $30,000 in payment. The Sean family was a very famous mafia family in L.A. Zhao had specifically researched after leaving last time. He didn't need to do any special searches. He only had to Google a Sean family and there would be a list of this family's information. Their power reached various crooks and crannies of L.A. They were the true underworld kingdom of the city while the patriarch was the king. Zhao respected Sean. Whenever he faced Sean, he would purposely lay low. Before him, Zhao was only a doctor. After leaving the manor, Zhao went to the gym. Ethan hadn't introduced him to any new clients these days, so his schedule was pretty simple. He went to the gym in the morning, Mr. Doman's house in the afternoon, and went home at night. When he reached the gym, he saw Anderson sitting on the ground with a swollen face. Anderson, did you get beaten by Gaia? No, I fought in an amateur competition last night. Gaia walked over now. Anderson, it's too dangerous for you to fight in amateur competitions with your current abilities. Anderson, you tried amateur competitions. The money's good, so I wanted to try, but I got eliminated in the first round, Anderson said, a bit dejected. That's a good thing for you, Gaia said. People die every year in the AQ tournament. It gets more violent the further you go. AQ tournament? Chen Zhao asked curiously. What's that? How come I've never heard about it before? It's actually held by the elites for the rich members to enjoy themselves. The champion each year wins $1,200,000. It's the highest prize money in amateur fights. There also aren't any rules, other than not being able to hit the lower body. There are no time restrictions either. As long as one party hasn't surrendered, they can keep going. $1,020,000 isn't a small number. Gaia, how come you don't participate? Are women not allowed? No, but I might not win even if I go, Gaia said, shaking her head. The participants are all top fighters. I think I'm strong, but I may not be the strongest. She glanced at Chen Zhao. I think you can try though. Please, even you're not confident. Wouldn't it be suicide for me? Plus, I'm a doctor. Chen Zhao's biggest wish was to hit Gaia once, but this hadn't come true yet. He didn't think that he'd hope for something that even Gaia wasn't confident about. Gaia smiled. She just said it offhandedly. She knew that Chen Zhao was too scared to get into the ring. Chen Zhao had only started practicing to take revenge on her instead of becoming stronger for himself or competing. Now, Chen Zhao's abilities weren't weak at all. It was his heart that was weak. This was understandable though. Gaia was the coach for the army. Women couldn't stand their ground there if she didn't have the abilities. Chen Zhao learned boxing just to take revenge Gaia, but at this point, he already gave up on that. He also didn't have the pressures of living like Anderson. Gaia knew that Chen Zhao had a high income. At least, she knew that he'd spend a few $100,000 on causing trouble for a billionaire. David, congratulations. The police director patted David's shoulder. You performed well at the Harry Bank. Old York is retiring this year. There are high possibilities of you taking his spot. In the bank robbery case, David had saved the captive, shot a robber, and captured 2 robbers. The security camera footage and video from the reporter present were played continuously in the media. This boosted the director's reputation. David was also praised by L.A.'s mayor. Of course, he was also treated as a hero. After all, David's performance yesterday had been too amazing. After the robbers broke into the bank, they shot the bank's security guard before anyone could react. No one could avoid this, but it was evident from this how evil the group of robbers was. Then David pretended to surrender but was observing quietly. He worked together with his friend and used advanced fighting skills to restrict the robbers and used great shooting skills to kill 1 robber. As for the 2 that had escaped, it couldn't be helped. Chapter 213, Attack on the Sea. Chapter 213, Attack on the Sea. David, congrats. You've become a huge star among the police. Leonardo had also been invited. He hugged David and gave him his blessing. Everyone, this is Kate, David introduced Kate to the others. Today, Kate had dressed up exquisitely, planning to be the sole star of the night. Kate was wearing her business attire and carrying a shoulder bag. It would seem that she had just come back from work. In the end, Feli, Sienna and Chris were all as good-looking as her. Kate's smile was somewhat unnatural for the whole meal. Luckily, none of the 3 ladies was interested in David, for which she felt really relieved. After all, to Kate, only David was her perfect man. Chen Zhao also did not mention the conflict between Kate and him. Everyone had a harmonious time. By the time they walked out of the restaurant holding each other's shoulder, they were totally drunk. Burp. Where do we go next? David had also drunk a lot, but it looked like he still wanted more. I want to see the whale. I want to see Amon, Sienna said dizzily. Me too. Chen, I haven't even seen Amon. Feilai was also drunk. If she was clear-headed, she would definitely not suggest playing near the sea while drunk, because it was extremely dangerous. Sure. Burp. Let's go to the sea and see Amon. Who's Amon? Leonardo asked, confused. A whale, killer whale. Burp. Go. Let's go to Angel Beach. Chen Zhao was also lurching. The drunken group flagged 2 cabs and headed for Angel Beach. However, when they arrived at the beach, they could see nothing apart from the pitch-dark seacoast. Amon was clearly nowhere to be seen. Chen. Where's Amon? Wait. Let me call him. Chen Zhao staggered toward the sea. When the seawater reached knee-height, he stopped and shouted, Amon. Just then, the drunken group also came beside him and shouted at the sea, Amon. Amon. There seemed to be something on the sea. Chen Zhao could feel that Amon was coming. Even though Amon was near the coastline on the other side of Los Angeles, he could still sense Chen Zhao's summoning. Amon's coming, but he can't come too close to the shore. Then how? We can't see anything from here. I have a way, Feilai said immediately. The coastal rescue team has a speedboat. Come and help. The speedboat was stored in the HQ. The group had to work together to push the speedboat into the sea. Kate took out her video camera, recording everyone's drunken state. Let's go. Out to the sea. After they moved the speedboat from the warehouse to the sea, they boarded the boat and left. Where's Amon? Because it was really dark, everyone still could not see Amon. There. Turn the light in that direction. Chen Zhao could feel Amon's position. David turned the searchlight to where Chen Zhao was pointing at. A huge fin appeared on the sea. Someone shouted, I see it, I see it. I see the killer whale's fin. Where? Where? Leonardo was still looking for Amon. Right there. Chen, ask Amon to come above the surface. Suddenly, a bigger searchlight shone onto them from afar. It's so bright. Why is there a ship here? I think it's a fishing boat. Here is not a fishing area. Why is there a fishing boat? It's coming toward us. Shit, it's going to hit us. By then, they already had no time to react. The fishing boat collided with the stationary speedboat. It was a small fishing boat that weighed only tens of tons, but it was still too big for the speedboat. Immediately, everyone fell into the sea in their screams. Then, a huge net fell from the sky and engulfed all of them, pulling them up onto the boat. Being submerged in the sea cleared everyone's head. They realized that they had been attacked. When Chen Zhao was pulled onto the fishing boat, he saw more than a dozen Mexicans. Who are you? Why did you attack us? Odutra approached Chen Zhao and tried to identify him. I remember you, Asian. You were also a hostage. Precisely because of your resistance, my brother was killed by this cop. Who exactly are you? Yesterday, my brother, Oxus, was killed by you. My name is Odutra. You're Odutra from the Los Angeles Mexican gang. David's face turned cold. Odutra believed that if Chen Zhao did not resist that day, after David killed the first robber, the second robber would be able to shoot David. Then, his brother would not have died. Thus, Chen Zhao was similarly unforgivable. At least this was his understanding. And this bitch. Odutra pointed at Kate. This cop did it because he wanted to save you. Everyone was panic-stricken. Odutra licked his lips. Drag these few women out. Let them see us play their women. When we're done, drop all of them into the sea to feed the sharks. Let go of me. Let go, the few ladies struggled. The men in the team also could not tolerate any longer, or the ladies would really be killed by the Mexican gang. Without warning, Zhao suddenly tore the fishing net apart and charged forward. Bang! Accompanied by a gunshot, blood started to ooze out from Zhao's chest. However, he continued forward and smashed into the person. The people around Zhao thought that he would collapse after being shot. Zhao's bravery took them by surprise. Even after he was shot, he still injured their people. Just as they planned to fire at Zhao together, the boat suddenly vibrated. Everyone staggered apart from Zhao, who was prepared for the impact. Just then, David and Leonardo also broke through the net. They had their guns with them. Actually, the gang members did not collect their guns because they thought a counterattack was impossible. Zhao kicked and jumped over a meter off the ground, landing on top of the cabin. Then, he swept his leg out. Following a loud crack, the Mexican who was hit fell off the cabin top. David and Leonardo kept shooting. Kate was even holding her camera, recording the fight down. Suddenly, someone ran out of the cabin with a machine gun. Everyone quickly went to take cover. The person fired the machine gun and raked the group. However, the next moment, a clear whale roar was heard from the sea. Kate lay on the ground, pointing her camera at the sea. She saw a huge wave on the surface. Then, a giant leaped out from the sea and smashed onto the boat. The entire boat shook and became slanted. The person holding the machine gun also fell onto the floor. David got up at once and shot the person in the forehead. He didn't spend more than 36 hours in the hospital. He wasn't completely healed, but he felt so uncomfortable there. He couldn't wait to escape from the patient's ward and hospital. Getting onto Feilai's car, he got Dell's call. Chen, I heard from Mary that you're in the hospital. Why couldn't I find your room? What room number are you? I'm in heaven, Zhao said, annoyed. You died. Fuck off. Okay, I won't kid around. Chen, were you discharged? It was rare for Dell to be serious. Yes. When will you take me to see your pet Amon? You're calling to see Amon, right? No, I really do care about you. After ending the annoying call with Dell, Zhao asked, is Amon really famous now? Do you know how many tourists go to Angel Beach now? Everyone wants to see Amon. Yesterday, there were more than 100 drowning cases. A lot of tourists don't even wear life vests and go straight into the deep water to see Amon. How many people have seen him? You're asking the obvious. Amon isn't even at Angel Beach. As soon as Zhao got home, he grabbed onto Feilai impatiently. It had only been a bit more than a day, but Zhao felt like he hadn't had intimacy in forever. Chen, your injuries will open again. It's okay. I'll be careful. Chapter 215, Limits of the Body. Chapter 215, Limits of the Body. Zhao rested at home for the next 2 days. It was also Zhao's most relaxing period so far. Feilai did not go to work either. She stayed at home with Zhao every day, enjoying herself. Robio thought that Feilai had to take care of Zhao, so he approved her leave without hesitation. In reality, however, Zhao was already fully vigorous the day after discharge. The couple were only giving themselves a holiday. On the 3rd day, the two of them returned to work. Zhao had already spoken to the 6 other friends involved, including Feilai. They agreed to sell to PLM Film the copyright to turn their story into a movie. It cost 700,000, which meant 100,000 for each of them. The incident they had experienced had a very big, perhaps even stirring, influence in America. The video taken that night already had over 100 million views on various websites combined. In fact, apart from PLM, many film companies of varying sizes had also contacted Zhao and his friends. However, they offered little money and were not sincere at all. David and Leonardo were also commended for their actions that night in their respective police stations. Kate even became famous in the media industry due to that single night. The video she had taken became the focus which various media firms competed for. Sienna and Chris could not wait to get the money, because after that night, the relationship between David and Kate surged rapidly. They had to move out of David's house before something bad happened. Zhao decided to lend them his money first so that they could find accommodation outside. Leonardo really valued the friendship between him and the others. Moreover, he felt that after experiencing the danger together, their friendship would become even stronger. When Zhao got to the fitness center, almost everyone that he knew came to greet him. "Chen, you're amazing. I saw you send a Mexican gangster flying with just one kick. Chen, bring me to see him on too. My son tells me every day that he wants to go to Angel Beach, but we didn't see him on there." Gaia approached Zhao. "How's your body?" "Recovering well." Gaia pulled Zhao's collar down and looked at the wound on his chest. "That's fast. I'm a doctor too, after all. You seem to be good, but let's slow today's lesson down. Practice with Anderson." While Gaia looked rough on the outside, she actually had the empathy of a lady. Usually, however, she would not display it. Zhao's injury had more or less fully recovered. After all, in the past 2 days, he had already been sleeping relentlessly with Feilai at home. As Zhao and Anderson practiced with each other, Gaia observed Zhao's condition. Gaia was the ideal coach, whether it was her personal ability or her responsible attitude toward her students. "Chen, come down," Gaia called. Zhao and Anderson stopped their training. "Let me give you a test." "What? You mean being beaten by a few people like the last time? Or by you?" "Actually, my injury has yet to recover completely." "No, just a few tests on your physical strength. I've in fact already done those at my friend's house last time." Zhao had indeed done these tests at Rufford's house. "What's your record for squat?" 490 kilograms. "You sure it's correct?" "Yes." What did 490 kilograms mean? The world record for heavyweight squat was only 470 kilograms, and it was the heavyweight record. Gaia's limit was about 265 kilograms. Of course, she did not usually train this, so her result obviously could not be compared to the world record. How about deadlift and bench press? Deadlift was 550 kilograms, Zhao recalled. "I think 380 kilograms for bench press." In fact, these were only his results a few weeks ago. Zhao felt that he was still growing and had yet to reach his true limit. Gaia brought Zhao to a boxing machine. "Hit this." "How?" "Full speed. Don't stop until I tell you to," Gaia instructed. Zhao warmed his limbs up and got into the right stance. "Start." At the instant Gaia started the stopwatch, she heard continuous bangs from the machine. "Stop." Gaia paused the timing and then walked up to the screen. According to the display, Zhao had punched 121 times in 10 seconds. It was another world record. His strongest and weakest punches were 211 kilograms and 165 kilograms respectively. It was a very good result in quick punching. Gaia cleared the result. Again. This time, charge your punch and hit it as hard as possible. Only one punch is needed. Chen Zhao took in a deep breath. Then, he punched out and his fist smashed hard onto the sandbag on the machine. Pong! The sandbag flew away. A number appeared on the screen, 1000. Gaia shook her head. The record in the boxing world was set by the heavyweight boxing champion Tyson, but his official record was much less. Chen Zhao's punch had already surpassed the limit of a normal human being. Gaia glanced at Chen Zhao. By just looking at his physical strength, he could no longer be considered as a human. Gaia had seen the video of Chen Zhao fighting with the Mexican gangsters that night. In the video, Chen Zhao had almost managed to defeat one person with each hit. Those people all had permanent disabilities from their injuries. If Chen Zhao went for a wrestling or boxing competition, he might really beat his opponent to death. Don't tell me you're a biological weapon made in China. Have you ever seen a biological weapon that you can press onto the ground and beat as much as you like? Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. If you want to go for any fighting competition, I can make you a world champion. Pick any style you like. Please, I'm only a doctor. Gaia gave a wry smile and shook her head. She would rarely encounter someone who was so strong, even talented, but unfortunately Chen Zhao was not interested. Apart from his skills, Chen Zhao was perfect in every area. Of course, Gaia was not the kind of person who would force others to do things they did not enjoy. If Chen Zhao was willing to take part in competitions, she would clearly be happy to create a champion in the boxing world. However, if Chen Zhao was unwilling, she would not force him. When Chen Zhao left the fitness center, a business car stopped before him. A lady stuck her head out of the window. "Mr. Chen, please come in." Chen Zhao found the lady somewhat familiar. "You are." Just then, the rear window also opened. It was Chen Zhao's mother. "Come in." It was the first time Chen Zhao met his mother in the last half a year. "Does your daughter need bone marrows?" Chen Zhao asked, remaining stationary. Chen Zhao's mother stared at him. To Chen Zhao, she was more like a familiar stranger. Chen Zhao was calm and respectful, but he was clearly keeping his distance from her. After keeping silent for a while, his mother asked, "I only wanted to ask you about your injury." "I'm fine. Thank you for your concern." "Great. I still have something else. Bye. Bye." Chapter 216, Gap. Chapter 216, Gap. His mother's sudden appearance only created a slight disturbance of Chen Zhao's emotions. He quickly composed himself. He would fulfill his early promise and donate his bone marrow when his half-sister needed it. Composing himself, Chen Zhao went to Domon's house. He'd missed 4 days of Norman's weight loss training, but she'd been practicing by herself too. She was just less motivated without Chen Zhao there. When Chen Zhao had left 4 days ago, Norman's had been around 195 pounds. 4 days later, her weight had only dropped to around 187 pounds. "Hey, asshole, were you afraid that day?" Norman's ran side to side with Chen Zhao. "Yeah," Chen Zhao replied nonchalantly. "It'll be weird if I wasn't." He'd indeed been afraid, but once you were scared to the max, it wouldn't be that scary anymore. When humans were excited and scared, blood would collect in the brain and result in excessive oxygenation. Excitement and fear were similar, so Chen Zhao couldn't say if he was more excited or scared. In extreme situations, one might not feel fear. It could be excitement too. "Right, how's Wouter's training?" "Not bad. You can take him back at any time." "You finished that quickly." "If you're just patronizing me, I'm not going to pay." "As long as you don't have him do math, he should understand your intentions." Chen Zhao was quite confident in this. After all, Wouter had drunk the intelligence potion and was smarter than most animals. Then I'll go to your place today and take him back. You better prepare a check first. After training, Normans gave Chen Zhao a check. He went back home to get Wouter. It was another $100,000 in his pockets. Robio already gave the design and initial budget to Chen Zhao and Fei Lai. Including the cost for 2 kilometers of asphalt, the total budget was around $1,300,000. In other words, the building itself needed $1,100,000. This had surpassed Chen Zhao's initial budget, but he and Fei Lai couldn't decide which part of Robio's design to take out. Every part of his design had a specific use or intention. The entire design was a piece of art. Looking at the mock-up, Chen Zhao and Fei Lai had already fallen in love with the house. Chen, how much more money do you need? Let me see. Chen Zhao picked up his pen. After buying the land, I had $200,000 left. In this half month, I earned around $100,000 and got another $100,000 today. If Norman successfully loses weight, I'll have another $400,000. That's pretty much it. You forgot the money for the movie. The two of us together will be $200,000. That means we already have $1 million. Chen Zhao thought for a moment. We still need $300,000. How about? Don't ask your family for money anymore, Chen Zhao said. This is our home. We'll build it with our own hard work. Plus, I might have an unexpected payment in a few days. What unexpected payment? Do you remember Pierce South? He wants to collaborate with me. Collaborate with what? He doesn't look like a good guy. He said that Treat Pempton divided his wealth in half before dying. One part was the gold which we've already split amongst the villagers. The other part is his collection. It's a bunch of valuable artworks and relics. Will he go back on you? Fei Lai's first reaction was about Chen Zhao's safety. Chen Zhao laughed. He hugged Fei Lai and pressed a kiss onto her. Dear, it's not me underestimating Pierce. If that old fox dares to do anything, I'll make sure he's stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. The next day, Chen Zhao received a call from an unfamiliar number. Hello, who is this? Hello, I'm Felwood Cisco, Robio's friend. Are you Chen Zhao, Mr. Chen? Oh, yes. What is it? I started a construction company. Robio said you want to build a house, right? Yes. When are you free? We can find time to sit down and chat. Actually, I'm at the central street of Mountain Town right now. I want to settle this as soon as possible. Can you tell me where to go? Oh, go straight to the left of the supermarket for around 1 kilometer. My house is on the hill. It looks old and should be easy to see. Oh, there are a few big dogs playing in the yard. There are so many dogs in this town. Are you sure I won't get the wrong place? You definitely won't. Felwood soon found Chen Zhao's house. Hello, I'm Chen Zhao. Hi, I'm Felwood Cisco. He looked at the silly twins running in and out of Chen Zhao's yard and finally understood what he meant. They really were two big, incredibly big, dogs. Mr. Chen, Robio already gave me the design and budget. The cost is pretty much how he estimated, but there might be a fluctuation of around $100,000. I can't promise an exact price. I also have to make it clear because you're Robio's friend. He told me to make it clear that if we buy the material, we might have some profit. Of course, if you have your own channels, you can save around $100,000. I can give you a list of what to buy. It'll just take longer. Chen Zhao thought for a moment. If he bought the material himself, he could save a few $1,000s, but he would also waste a lot of time. It wasn't really worth it. After all, building such a complicated house would need hundreds of materials. It wasn't just brick, cement, and dirt. It couldn't be done in 1 or 2 days, so he felt like it was logical for the company to make a profit while making the purchases. I agree for your company to make the purchases, but I hope the budget won't go over $100,000. Money is tight for me right now. If it's more, it'll give me a lot of pressure. I'll try my best, Felwood said. The fluctuations in market price is really big because it's affected by the environment. I can't control it. Chapter 217, Great, finally someone dares to openly taunt Zhao. Chapter 217, Great, finally someone dares to openly taunt Zhao. Zhao signed the contract with Felwood and paid him a deposit of $300,000. In 3 days' time, Felwood's team would officially start the construction. His team would build everything, including the roads. They would even make modifications to the scenery surrounding the main building. Zhao did not need to do anything apart from visiting the construction site once in a while. The estimated time needed for the construction was 3 months. If it was exceeded, Zhao would receive a compensation. After they signed the contract, Felwood and Zhao had a chat. Zhao got to know Felwood a bit better during the conversation. Felwood's company was a really small one with a registered capital of just $2 million. They had little competitiveness in the sector. Usually, they were lucky to even receive a project worth tens or hundreds of $1,000s. Anyway, they would do whatever that could get them profit. Robio was the architect, the only architect, in his company. Of course, Robio was more like a helper. He had no share in the company and would not really get paid. The project that Zhao was offering them was already a big one. By building a villa that cost more than $1 million, Felwood could earn at least $200,000 for himself. It seemed like Zhao could earn $100,000 very easily. In fact, his income was already very high. Of course, Zhao worked in the gray area. Nobody would care about him unless there was a problem. Moreover, he did not have a standard or stable income. On the other hand, despite having opened his company for a few years, Felwood had yet to earn the cost back. Therefore, he was exceptionally enthusiastic toward Zhao's project. The project would be a hot one even among larger construction companies. They might even offer him a discount, which was something that small companies could not provide. Nevertheless, Zhao did not want to do that. Robio had designed his house for free, after all. If Zhao were to hire an architect himself, he would have to spend about 5% of the total cost, according to the market price. Robio was already doing him a big favor by designing his house for free. Hence, Zhao would not mind helping Robio back. Chen, I left the keys to the warehouse at home. Can you deliver them here? Fei Lai called Zhao. No problem. Just then, the silly twins bolted in. Master, are you going to the beach? Angel Beach? Zhao's cheeks twitched. Why are you two so excited when I'm just going there to send things? Master, bring us there. Master, please. I'll pick up as many coins as I can. Unable to dissuade the silly twins, Zhao had no choice but to bring them along. This being the case, he also had to bring Beelzebub, Raymond, Carrie, and Abidos. Leaving them at home by themselves would mean a terrible disaster for his furniture, especially Abidos. He would literally turn the house upside down if there was nobody to watch him. Zhao had a difficult time flagging a cab. He had to promise the driver $200 before he could finally bring his pets in. Zhao thought about whether he should really get a driving license and a car. Otherwise, it would be very inconvenient to bring his pets around. Many a time, he could not even flag a cab, especially at night. If he came out from his client's house late at night, he might have to walk a long distance before he could get a cab. If he was going to buy a car, it must first of all be big enough. For example, the car that he was in at the moment could barely fit the silly twins. He still had to place Abitos in the trunk and carry Beelzebub and Carrie in his arms. Here we are. When Zhao was still thinking, they arrived at their destination. He alighted from the car with his pet family. Immediately, they attracted countless strange stares. As usual, the silly twins ran wild at once. They automatically entered their pay-to-photo mode. In particular, they attracted many children on the beach. Zhao went to the Coastal Rescue Team HQ and found Feilai. To be honest, given that Feilai was the prettiest lady in the Coastal Rescue Team, many men were unhappy when they saw her being hugged by Zhao. Zhao and Feilai openly displayed their affection toward each other, as if there was no one around. Feilai, is this your boyfriend? I thought he was an illegal doctor. A half-naked man approached Zhao and Feilai. The two of them stared at the man with a weird look. Feilai frowned. Claude, what do you want? Claude smiled with confidence. He had quite an elegant demeanor before Feilai. Feilai, I only think that maybe it's time for your boyfriend to exercise. He might not even be as strong as you. Zhao and Feilai both rolled their eyes. They had stayed in the same house for so long, not to mention that Feilai had obviously tried Zhao's physical strength. As for why Claude had said so, everyone knew the reason. Feilai, why did you find an Asian as your boyfriend? Can he satisfy you? Snap. Zhao tore his shirt off right away, displaying his excellent shape and powerful muscles. He had no extra flesh on his body at all. Come. Anyone who thinks that I'm not strong enough can challenge me in anything. Wow, his muscles are beautiful. The few female lifeguards stared at Zhao's muscles with their eyes glittering, as if they were wolves which just saw a huge piece of meat. Feilai widened her eyes at Zhao. Then, she patted his chest gently and said with dissatisfaction, "Stop showing off." She knew how messy Zhao's private life had been in the past. If he was targeted by these female lifeguards, he might just return to his old lifestyle. Claude would not admit defeat. Indeed, he felt even more jealous when he saw Zhao and Feilai flirt with each other before him. He had a strong body too. After all, he was a lifeguard. Moreover, he was a few centimeters taller than Zhao, so he would clearly not retreat so easily. Let's arm wrestle. Which hand do you want? I'll let you choose, Claude said confidently. Sure. Left hand then. Claude had been provoking Zhao right before his girlfriend. How could he not fight back? Moreover, Zhao had to display himself, given that there were so many ladies present. Zhao and Claude came before a table. A lady walked up and placed their hands in position. Are you ready? The lady asked. Zhao and Claude both nodded, yes. 3, 2, 1, start. Claude immediately grabbed onto a table leg to help him exert more force. On the other hand, Zhao looked very relaxed and showed no intention of grabbing anything. He continued to hold his arm vertical, not moving to the left or the right. Chapter 218, You want to provoke my man with just that. Chapter 218, You want to provoke my man with just that. Go Claude. Claude, use power. Claude, did you not eat dinner? Claude, did you use all your energy on a woman? Everyone in the Coastal Rescue Team was on Claude's side, cheering him on. However, Claude couldn't move Zhao's arm even when his face had turned red. Feilai scoffed at him. Claude, you want to provoke my man with just that. Hearing Feilai's words, Claude tried even harder. But despite using all his force, he still couldn't make Chen Zhao budge. Chen Zhao gradually added more strength and Claude's expression became pained. Chen Zhao wasn't pushing down. Instead, he was squeezing. It felt like Claude's hand was clamped in a vice. "I surrender," he finally yelled. "Let go, let go." Chen Zhao finally let go. Claude grasped his left hand and rubbed it without stop. It felt like Chen Zhao would break his hand. "Chen, seriously, are you arm wrestling or squeezing his wrist? You're too much." Fei Lai's words made Claude even more furious. He wasn't willing to accept that he lost to Chen Zhao and was also humiliated by Fei Lai. "Arm wrestling is my weakness. Do you dare compete with something else?" "What? Swimming?" "Sure, but how about we bet something?" "Chen, I bet $100 for you," Fei Lai said. "I'm going with Claude, $50. "Claude, $100. Put it all down." Claude took his wallet out of the drawer. "I bet myself $1,000. I'll follow." Chen Zhao also tossed $1,000 onto the table. "We'll start here and swim to the buoy, then swim back. Whoever gets back here first will win." "Sure. Be careful," Fei Lai whispered in Chen Zhao's ears. Claude was a professional swimmer before. He even won awards in national competitions. "Take it seriously." "Got it." Chen Zhao turned and kissed Fei Lai's lips. "This is easy money. How about you provoke them more so they gamble more money?" "You're horrible." Fei Lai hit him playfully. Seeing Fei Lai and Chen Zhao flirt as if no one was watching, Claude grew more furious. As a lifeguard, swimming at full speed from the beach was part of their everyday training. Claude's performance had always been at the top of the team, second only to their leader Robio. He didn't believe that this Asian could surpass him. Whether it was running or swimming, Asians never had an advantage. Plus, this was also Claude's strong point. Chen Zhao was muscular, but he was still an amateur. The two went to the beach outside the building. The woman who'd acted as the referee for the arm wrestling was the one who gave the signal this time too. 3, 2, 1. Go! The two instantly ran out from the beach. Chen Zhao was instantly one body ahead of Claude. The startling line was only a few hundred feet from the sea, so the distance wasn't obvious. But when Chen Zhao jumped into the ocean, his dive landed him many meters away. He extended the gap. Claude followed closely behind, but his explosive power couldn't compare to Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao's speed was terrifying. He stayed underwater without coming out to breathe at all until he reached buoy. Then his head popped out and he swam back. The buoy marked the deep zone. It was around 200 meters away. Claude only swam around 150 meters. When Chen Zhao swam past him, the lifeguards in the hallway of the office all fell silent. No one cheered Claude on anymore. It wasn't because they didn't want to, but that they couldn't make another sound. Claude and Chen Zhao were too far apart. Claude had only reached the buoy when Chen Zhao was already on land. He was basically twice as fast. How could Claude be so bad today? Chen Zhao didn't go easy at all. He ran straight to the finish line, embraced Fei Lai and spun her in a circle. Then they kissed deeply. Claude gave up all hope on the way back and returned to the finish line with his head hanging. "Claude, are you unwell today? How come you lost so much?" "I don't really feel good," Claude said nonchalantly, but he knew that he'd lost completely this time. It wasn't just in terms of state. It was a difference in true abilities. He'd lost in arm wrestling and was creamed in running and swimming. He couldn't bully Chen Zhao anymore. "You win." Robio walked to Chen Zhao's side. He didn't know what had happened before him and Claude. He'd returned just as the swim race started. From what he'd seen, he knew that nothing was wrong with Claude. He'd performed as he usually did. It was just that Zhao was too fast, both while sprinting on the beach and swimming in the sea. The difference between them was like a child and an adult. Chen, you took less than 50 seconds while swimming in the sea. It was probably with the current. The tide was going back. Robio shook his head. It was against the tide. Either way, you were too fast. I've never seen anyone who could swim it in 50 seconds. You must have timed it wrong, Zhao said, unconvinced. How about we compete? Robio said, smiling. That's unnecessary. Zhao had competed with Claude just to destroy Claude's ego and protect his own. He and Robio had a good relationship. It would be bad if he made Robio lose his image before his members. Leader, are you gonna race him? Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Race what? Zhao asked. I definitely can't beat you in speed. How about we go underwater? See who holds his breath the longest? No, see who can go deepest without gear, Robio said. The world record for this sport was 112 meters with only a pair of protective goggles and nothing else. Chen, Robio is the 12th world record holder, Feilai said, standing beside Zhao. How deep? My best record is 72 meters, Robio said, but I only reached that once in my life. I'd like to try, Zhao said. He didn't really want to compete with Robio. He just wanted to know his own limit. Chapter 219, Limitless Potential. Chapter 219, Limitless Potential. Robio kept half of the lifeguards on duty. The rest boarded the speedboat and headed for the deep water zone. The speedboat traveled a few kilometers to their destination. Feilai pulled Zhao. Chen, free diving is rather dangerous. If you feel uncomfortable, you have to surface. Don't risk going down further. Many people have died in this sport. The high water pressure will pierce your eardrums and even make your lungs burst. Don't worry. I won't bet my own life. Robio threw Zhao a pair of goggles. Chen, has Feilai told you about the precautions for free diving? Yeah, I know. Be careful. Competition second, safety first. 2 lifeguards with full diving equipment went underwater first. Their job was to ensure the safety of Zhao and Robio. Zhao and Robio jumped into the water at the same time and started diving. When Zhao was about 10 meters underwater, the lifeguard in diving equipment made a hand signal. 10 meters. Up. Down. Zhao gave a thumbs up, after which he pointed below him. He was going to continue. 10 meters was usually the limit for a normal person, that is, a person without diving training. Those who had training could reach roughly 15 or 20 meters. Below 20 meters, the water pressure would increase drastically. Diving further would be dangerous. When Zhao reached 20 meters underwater, he did not feel any pressure. In fact, he found it quite easy. Robio had also reached 20 meters deep. They continued diving. The 2 lifeguards in diving equipment had been observing the 2 carefully. Once they showed any abnormal signs, they would save them immediately. Zhao was still pretty relaxed. He could feel the water pressure becoming larger, but it was acceptable. 40 meters. The lifeguards asked again. Up. Down. 50 meters. Up. Down. Robio chose to surface without hesitation. On the other hand, Zhao continued to dive. When he reached 60 meters underwater, he finally chose to surface. Actually, 60 meters was not his limit. He felt that he could go deeper. Under the help of his friend, Robio returned to the speedboat with much difficulty. Half a minute later, Chen Zhao also surfaced. Chen, have you tried free diving before? No, it's my first time. It's also my first time diving so deep at all. After some training, you can get to at least 80 meters. At that time, Robio had managed to reach 72 meters only after a long period of special training. Because he had not dived in a long time, he could not go further than 50 meters this time. It was a huge challenge to the body. Robio had comprehensive self-knowledge and a very strong safety consciousness. Once he discovered a bit of danger, he would give up immediately. Among free diving enthusiasts, there was once a person who died 3 hours after breaking the world record. The record was not acknowledged because of his death. World records could only be made when a person faced a challenge without getting injured or dying. If the person died, the whole sport would become pointless, no matter how deep he had managed to reach. Chen, do you want me to train you? You might just break the world record. No way. Fei Lai was the first to object. Why would you want to make such a meaningless and dangerous record? Chen, I don't allow you to play such a risky sport. Alright. I also agree with Fei Lai. It's really too dangerous. Even boxing was not that dangerous. Boxing was a battle against another human, but deep diving was a battle against nature. Claude, who was also on the speedboat, felt rather stifled. He was counting on Robio to defeat Chen Zhao and destroy his arrogance. In the end, Chen Zhao beat Robio too. Defeating Robio was equivalent to defeating all the people in the coastal rescue team. At this point, nobody would feel that Chen Zhao was just a vase. After the group returned to the shore, Chen Zhao and Fei Lai sat somewhere in the HQ where nobody would disturb them. Just then, Black Ma and White Ma approached them. Each of them had a jar around their necks to contain money. They would earn money by taking photos with others and, at the same time, picking up coins. When they managed to find a coin, they would pick it up with their mouths and drop it into the other wolf's jar. In just over an hour, their jars were already full. They wanted Chen Zhao and Fei Lai to clear their jars so that they could continue to earn money. Come, let me count how much you've earned. Fei Lai waved her hand. Black Ma walked up to Fei Lai. Fei Lai poured the coins out from the jar. However, she noticed that one of them did not seem to be an American coin. Fei Lai picked the coin up. Chen, take a look. Is it a gold coin? Chen Zhao was also stunned. He took the coin, which felt quite heavy. It had the texture of gold too. Moreover, traces on its surface indicated that it had once been attached to soft-bodied organisms. It was probably brought to the beach by the waves. It is a gold coin indeed. Chen Zhao cleaned the surface of the coin. The coin had a Jesus cross on the front and a head portrait on the back. From the craftwork of the coin, it probably had a long history. Could there be a shipwreck nearby? Fei Lai asked. Let me ask someone professional, Chen Zhao said. Then, he took his phone and called Mr. Doman. Mr. Doman, are you free? Yes, I usually don't work in the morning. What is it? Can you appraise something for me? I want to know its origin. Do you want to send me a photo or bring the thing over? I'll take a photo. Sure. Chen Zhao sent a photo of the coin to Mr. Doman, who immediately said, it's a 14th century Clement commemorative coin made in Vatican in the 17th century. Where did you get it? Mr. Doman, how much does this coin cost? Each piece costs about $30,000 to $50,000. Not many 14th century Clement coins have been discovered, so they're quite expensive. An item's worth was based on its rarity. If it could be found on every street, it would certainly be valueless. However, if it was unique, its value would multiply by hundreds or thousands of times. The same was true for antiques and artworks. If the coin they had found was the only piece in the world, it might even cost $1 million or $10 million. Thank you, Mr. Doman. If you have 20 pieces of that coin or fewer, I can buy them at $50,000 per piece. If you have more than 20, it'll be $40,000 per piece. However, if you have more than 40 pieces, I can only give you $30,000 per piece. How many do you have? Chapter 220, Gold Coin. Chapter 220, Gold Coin. White Ma, where did you find the gold coin? Woof. Under the cliff, White Ma said. Fei Lai, let's go look there. Chen Zhao pulled Fei Lai along. There was a rocky beach at the edge of Angel Beach. A cliff loomed over it. It was more than 20 meters high. The waves here were much bigger and there were abnormally shaped rocks in the water, so few tourists dared to come here. Chen Zhao and Fei Lai came to the rocky beach while holding hands. They were cautious too. But it was like flat land to White Ma and Black Ma. They jumped up and down on the rocks. Just then, White Ma seemed to find something. He sniffed the ground and then stuck his head into the water. A moment later, he floated up and ran to Chen Zhao. He opened his mouth and tossed another coin into Chen Zhao's hands. Chen Zhao and Fei Lai exchanged glances. They couldn't hide their joy. These two weren't the type that treated money like dirt. Survival meant that they needed money. Plus, they truly needed money right now. Chen Zhao patted White Ma. Are there more? Master, there are a bunch down there. White Ma said that there are a lot in the water, Chen Zhao said. That's weird, Fei Lai said. How come nobody discovered this before? Not a lot of people come, but there are some still adventurous ones who like the thrill. No one ever said that they found gold coins. Maybe that recent storm brought it over. Or the ghost ship. Hearing ghost ship, Fei Lai tossed the gold coins onto the ground. Chen, will the things from the ghost ship be cursed? Like the cursed coin in the Pirates of the Caribbean. Don't worry. I already checked. It'll be fine. Are you sure? Yes. If it was dangerous, Chen Zhao wouldn't have taken Fei Lai along. It's too dangerous to stand here. Fei Lai, leave the beach. I'll go down to sea with White Ma. Be careful. The waves are big. If you hit the rocks, you'll get hurt. Fei Lai couldn't help, so she just cautioned him and went to the beach to wait. Chen Zhao and White Ma went into the water. He found a few gold coins underwater too. The coins were scattered and there weren't many. Judging from the distribution, they'd been brought here by the current. It seemed that the coins had been blown over by the last storm. Chen Zhao and White Ma found a dozen coins. He believed that there would be more under the seabed. He wouldn't be able to find them though unless he put on diving gear and had White Ma search. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to dig the coins out of the soil. He and White Ma returned to land. Chen Zhao opened his hands. Fei Lai, look. Your friend said each coin can sell for $50,000. Yeah, around that much. That means that if we sell all this, we'll have enough money to build the house. And get you a new car. To be honest, Fei Lai's car was really old. Apparently, she'd bought it secondhand for $3,000 after she graduated. She'd used it for more than 10 years now. It was ancient. Fei Lai also complained usually that it kept having problems. There are 16 gold coins. Fei Lai, do you want to keep one for the memory? No, just sell it all, Fei Lai said. Chen Zhao promised that nothing was wrong with them, but she was still worried that they would be cursed. In the afternoon, Zhao packed up all the coins and went straight to Mr. Doman's house. Mr. Doman, these are the coins I showed you. Please take a look. Just a second. Mr. Doman took out his appraisal tools, white gloves, pocket magnifying glass, and tweezers. Many of the coins were rusted. Zhao was worried that this would affect the value. Also, the craftsmanship was different from modern craftsmanship. It was obvious that these coins were crudely made. Mr. Chen, did you find these in the ocean? Yes, Zhao replied honestly. 10 of these are preserved more completely. My suggestion is to sell them all to me according to the price we agreed to. The others are completely rusted. You can't see the original design at all. You can melt it yourself and make some jewelry for your girlfriend. Okay. Zhao knew that gold coins were mainly about historical value. And that was mainly expressed by its design and pattern. If that was gone, the coin would lose its historical and collectible value. Mr. Doman signed a check to Zhao. He glanced at it. How come it's $900,000? The $400,000 is your payment, Mr. Doman said. But I haven't finished my task yet. It's okay. I'm already satisfied with how Norman's looks now. There are still 20 days before the deadline and she's already lost around 50 pounds. Plus, after she started losing weight, her mental state has gotten better. I'm very grateful for everything you've done for Norman's. Okay, I'll accept the check. I'll go look for Norman's now. Okay, go on. Bastard, you're all smiley after seeing my dad. Did you get paid? Is it obvious? Zhao touched his face. Super obvious. Just then, Zhao's phone rang. It was Rufford. Chen, I have a race in L.A. this afternoon. Do you want to come? It's so sudden. The organizers suddenly invited me. Apparently, 3 of the athletes were found to be using steroids. There aren't enough athletes, so they want me to fill in. Sure, Zhao agreed. What about the tickets? I'll have Mr. Board wait for you at the door. How many do you want? 2 is fine. After he hung up, Norman's asked, who was it? Are you going somewhere? My friend who runs track has a race this afternoon in L. I want to go watch. What about this afternoon's exercise? We'll run to the stadium. Which stadium? Memorial Coliseum. That's around 30 miles from Beverly Hills. It's on the other side of L.A. You want us to run there? The race will be over by the time we get there. No, it's at 5 p.m. And it's only 1 now. There are 4 hours. You like track and field? No, I'm only going to cheer my friend on. Fine. Your friend better not lose. Otherwise, it'll be embarrassing for you. Chapter 221, Running 2 Marathons. Chapter 221, Running 2 Marathons. 40 kilometers was almost a marathon. It would not be strange if an athlete could finish a marathon, of course, but Norman's was still 90 kilograms now. Running a marathon with her weight was not only a test of her stamina, but also one of her willpower. When they arrived at the stadium, even Norman's jacket was wet. Drink some water. Zhao passed her a bottle of water. She downed all the water one mouthful. As she walked to relieve the soreness in her muscles, she looked at Zhao. Asshole, are you not tired at all? Of course I am. But you look like you can run much more. I wouldn't say that. Can't you see I'm covered in sweat? Zhao said. Norman's placed her hand on Zhao's chest. Your heart rate is normal. Are you a monster? Chen. They could already see Board waving his hand in the distance. Zhao walked up and gave Board a hug. Board felt Zhao's sweat. Chen, why are you covered in sweat? My friend and I just ran a marathon's distance, Zhao answered. This is Norman's. I'm her slimming coach now. This is Board, a professional fitness coach. Hi, Board and Norman's shook each other's hand. Chen, are you a full-time coach now? Nope, she's only one of my clients, Zhao replied. Norman's twitched her lips. Which of you is more professional, I wonder? She was deliberately trying to provoke the two of them. Zhao and Board looked at each other and smiled together. They would not be incited by Norman's taunt. After all, Board had even received his current job from Zhao. As Rufford's coach, he had a decent income at the moment. He could not thank Zhao enough. Clearly, he would not be angry at Zhao. All right. It's about time that we should enter. Board, what competition is this? National Elite. If Rufford can perform well here, he will probably be eligible for Diamond League next year. Rufford? I know him. I've watched his competitions before, Norman said immediately. Is your friend Rufford? Yup. Chen is also Rufford's private doctor. Just over a month ago, Rufford was at the trough of his life. Luckily, he met Chen. After bringing Zhao and Norman's to their seats, Board went to the backstage. When Rufford came out onto the field, he looked at Zhao's direction. Then, he waved his hand. Zhao nodded gently in return. Norman's glanced at him. Are you very close? Kind of. I've helped him before, but I'm also investing in him. Is his result now because of you? A bit. Don't tell me you've made some kind of stimulant for him. Please. With the current technology, do you think an illegal doctor like me can create a stimulant that can bypass urine tests and blood tests? You're really overestimating me. I didn't even give him any legal drugs, not to mention stimulants. Rufford was the most popular athlete in the competition. Since he reappeared not long ago, he had been continuously producing excellent results. He was like a newborn star in sprinting. In the few competitions that he had remarkable performances. At the moment, he was already in the top 10 among the track and field athletes in America. In addition, his 100-meter sprint record was the best in the year. His international ranking was just over 50. In fact, with his results in the last 5 competitions, Rufford could have entered 10 top, or perhaps even top 3, internationally. However, an athlete's performance would fluctuate. Outstanding performances in a few recent competitions did not necessarily mean that he was better than the other athletes. This was the reason for the point system, which was calculated annually. Rufford had made his comeback last December. Before that, he had been either injured or producing mediocre results. Hence, his ranking was not high. The new year had just begun. The points gained last year still determined his current position. In IAAF, points would usually be renewed once every 3 months. Rufford's points were therefore not very high. Rufford had been spending all his time in competitions recently. In just 20 days, he had taken part in 7 or 8 competitions already. He was precisely trying to gain more points and a higher ranking in order to be eligible for Diamond League. The athletes took their positions. Rufford was also ready. A deafening silence broke out. Following a loud bang, all the sprinters charged toward the finish line like a rainbow. Far ahead of the rest, Rufford passed the finish line first. The audience was stirred up at once. Everyone stood up and cheered wildly. A number appeared on the electronic screen. 9:60. Downwind, 1 meter per second, result effective. Rufford had broken the national record in America. He became the fastest 100m sprinter here. Rufford! 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 All the audience were shouting his name. While it was not the world record, his result was enough to make the audience go insane. The host introduced Rufford again with a resounding voice. After enjoying the cheers and applause from the audience, Rufford returned to the changing room. The first thing he did was hug Chen Zhao and board. Chen, did you see it? Did you see it? It was 9.6 seconds. Rufford was still unable to calm down. Rufford, I hope that I will be there too when you break the world record. Can I? Yes, you can. Believe me. I will. I definitely will. Rufford clenched his fist tightly. By the way, have you signed the contract with CAA? We're already discussing the final details. You've introduced it, so I'm certainly okay with it. As an athlete, Rufford surely did not have the time to go for any business activity or endorsement. Hence, he had to have his own agent and agency. They would be in charge of these things. Chen Zhao introduced Normans to Rufford. The two had a brief chat. Despite being fat, Normans was really interested in sports. When they left the stadium, Chen Zhao looked at Normans. Do you want to run back? Sure. This time, Normans agreed readily. By the time Chen Zhao returned home, it was over 9 at night. Fei Lai knew that Chen Zhao had been helping a woman to lose weight. When she saw Chen Zhao covered in sweat, she was really concerned. Chen, why are you so late today? Just had 2 marathons. You must be tired. No. Let go of me. Go take a shower first. Together. Unable to resist Chen Zhao, Fei Lai was pulled into the bathroom. Chapter 222, Who's Lying? Chapter 222, Who's Lying? Construction at Mirror Lake started. First was road construction. When work started, Chen Zhao went to look. Felwood was surveying the work at the site. Chen Zhao still had to go to the gym in the morning and then train Normans in the afternoon. In the evening, he decided to take a taxi home when he received a call from the orphanage. Hello, Mr. Chen. Do you remember me? I'm Yusis Cree, head of Greenleaf Orphanage. Chen Zhao remembered the old granny at the orphanage. He'd once given her his card. Yes, Mrs. Yusis. How can I help you? Yes, I need your help. Can you tell me what it is? I can't explain it on the phone. Can you come over? Chen Zhao hesitated, but he still agreed. Sure. When possible, Chen Zhao was willing to help those orphans, but he really didn't like the atmosphere of the orphanage. The eerie and dark aura depressed him. He couldn't refuse the orphanage administrator's request though. In that case, he decided to make a visit. He still remembered the orphanage's address, 399 Bin Road. When he got there, Administrator Yusis was already waiting for him at the door. Hello, Mr. Chen. Hello, Mrs. Yusis. Yusis Kree's expression was very grave. She looked even thinner than before. Leading Chen Zhao into the orphanage, her footsteps were heavy. Mrs. Yusis, can you tell me what's wrong? Chen Zhao asked. After Christmas, Cheryl became strange. Cheryl? That girl from last time. Yes, her. Yusis nodded. She really liked Carrie before. Carrie's that volunteer you treated last time. But after Christmas, Cheryl's personality changed and she kept doing strange things. Carrie warned her before, but she ignored her. These past few days, food kept going missing from the kitchen. We installed a camera. Last night, we discovered that it was Cheryl. Maybe she didn't eat enough during the day and was hungry, Zhao said. That's what I hoped. It's not. Yus's expression turned solemn. She's eating raw meat. Zhao almost choked on air. Raw meat? Yes, she's eating raw meat. Raw meat? What kind of illness was that? Zhao had no clue. He had to see Cheryl first to get an idea. Is it my misperception? I can't see any of the kids. Last time he came, there had been children looking out from the windows. Today, there didn't seem to be anyone here. The teachers took them out to play. After entering the main building, Zhao didn't hear any sound. It was as if no one was there. There's not a single person here. The orphanage is poor and we don't have many people. Since the kids aren't back yet, there's no one else here. Yusuf brought Zhao to outside the quarantine room. Zhao looked through the glass and saw Cheryl sitting on the bed, dressed all in white. Mr. Chen, do you know what's wrong with Cheryl? I don't know. Can I go in and interact with her? Fine. Yusuf opened the door. After Zhao went in, Yusuf closed the door again. Hi, Cheryl. Do you remember me? Cheryl looked up and nodded. I'm here to help you. Yusuf told you everything. She said that you're eating raw meat. What's going on? No, Cheryl said. Then one of you is lying. Zhao didn't see anything wrong with Cheryl, but Yusuf had no reason to lie to him, right? She's not the administrator granny anymore. What? Zhao was so confused. The orphanage moved and we were all sent to Colline Orphanage. I missed Yusuf though, so I ran back. But she locked me up and made me eat raw meat. I didn't eat any. Zhao frowned. He wanted to take out his phone to check, but there was no Wi-Fi or signal here. He walked to the door and knocked. Mrs. Yusuf, can you open the door? Yusuf's face appeared in the glass. Mr. Chen, I'll let you out if you can help me convince Cheryl to eat dinner. Mrs. Yusuf, don't you know this is illegal detention? You're a doctor and Cheryl's sick. Shouldn't you help me cure her? She's not sick. Something felt amiss to Zhao. No, she's sick and needs help. With that, Yusuf turned and left. Through the door, he could faintly hear Yusuf's footsteps echoing in the empty hall. Zhao returned to Cheryl's side. What does she want you to eat? Cheryl pointed at the box beside the bed. Zhao opened it. It was a brain. He immediately closed the box. Nausea rose up within him. Now you get it, right? Granny Yusuf went crazy. She's not the nice administrator from before anymore. How long have you been locked up? Zhao asked. 2 days. No one came to look for you. I heard noises yesterday. I think someone came from outside, but then it quieted down again. Cheryl sat on the bed and hugged her legs. She was still in a nervous and fearful state. Zhao had a headache. How come it felt like a paranormal event? The kind old granny transformed into a cruel and violent creature. More importantly, Zhao's phone had no signal. He couldn't even call the cops or ask for help. It's getting dark. Cheryl turned and looked at the sky outside the metal bars. There was no light in the room and night fell gradually. Mr. Chen, no matter what happens later, please keep calm, Cheryl said in a mature tone. What will happen? This entire time, Cheryl sat on the bed, hugging her legs. She seemed to be waiting for something. As long as you don't scream, nothing will happen. Can you tell me beforehand so I can be mentally prepared? Cheryl finally put down her legs. Moonlight filtered past the bars and shone on her face, making it seem abnormally bright. Then she shot forward and slammed against the metal door. Bang! Chen Zhao was freaked out. Was Cheryl trying to kill herself? He quickly went to help her up. Cheryl, are you okay? She shook her head. I'm very well. Are you sure? You didn't get hurt? Chapter 223, How about let me try? Chapter 223, How about let me try? Cheryl stood up again, unhurt. The sound of the collision just now was definitely real. Why was she completely uninjured? Chen Zhao looked at the iron door. There was a small dent on the door, even though it was not obvious. Chen Zhao touched the door. He realized that there were more signs of impact. In the past 2 days, were you so bored that you have been running into the door for fun? I didn't do it for fun. I wanted to open the door, Cheryl said. This iron door is at least 10 centimeters thick. It's impossible to open it by running into it. Chen Zhao felt the door with his hand. He knew that it was indeed very thick. I can't break the door open, but I can destroy the hinges, Cheryl explained. In the last 2 days, I have already made the wall crack. You really haven't eaten for 2 days. Chen Zhao stared at Cheryl in doubt. Even adults were not as powerful as her. Cheryl glanced at Chen Zhao. Hope that we can get out of here before midnight. Why before midnight? You won't want to know it, Cheryl said. Will Ms. Yus's turn into a monster? Chen Zhao asked. Cheryl kept silent and continued to hit the door with her body. Stand back. Let me do it, Chen Zhao said. You're not even as strong as Mr. Carrie. Get out of the way. Cheryl struggled away from Chen Zhao's hand. Despised by a girl who was only 1.3 meters tall, Chen Zhao felt really annoyed. Chen Zhao kicked onto the floor and bolted toward the iron door at full speed. However, he was stunned by the impact from the collision. He almost could not feel his shoulder anymore. Nonetheless, the door produced a loud creak. Chen Zhao collapsed onto the floor, holding his shoulder with the other hand. It was too painful. Cheryl walked to the door. She discovered that Chen Zhao's strike had caused the door to deform obviously. That's a lot of force. Cheryl looked at Chen Zhao in surprise. Chen Zhao was stronger than she had imagined. He rubbed his shoulder as he got up to his feet. I think my shoulder will break before the door does. You've done enough, Cheryl said. Meanwhile, she took a few steps back and then charged into the door again. Bang! One corner of the door curved outward. Although the door was still bolted, the hinges were already deformed. Chen Zhao had to admit that while Cheryl was not as strong as him, her physical resistance was higher. Are girls nowadays all so tough? Chen Zhao wondered. Cheryl lifted her leg and kicked hard onto the door, but it did not seem to be effective. Let me do it. Chen Zhao felt that he had to display his strength. However, after kicking the door over 10 times with all his might, the door still did not move. Who the fuck made such a high-quality door? Let me rest for a while. Chen Zhao sat onto the bed and looked at Cheryl's back. Did you just grow a bit taller? Or is it just me? Cheryl turned her head around. Standing in the shadows, her eyes seemed to be emitting a green light. Chen Zhao was slightly scared because he felt that he had been locked with a monster. Cheryl looked at Chen Zhao. It's better if you don't know about it. Do you have some other kind of bloodline? I said, you better not know about it. Bang! Cheryl hit the door again with more force than she had been using. The door opened, its hinges destroyed completely. Cheryl turned around and glanced at Chen Zhao. Let's get out of here. Chen Zhao immediately ran to the door. However, the next instant, a black figure appeared before them and collided into Cheryl. Cheryl flew backward, hitting Chen Zhao along the way. Chen Zhao became the cushion and could not stand up for a while. Cheryl turned over and stood up, producing a monstrous roar. Chen Zhao realized that the person standing outside the door was none other than Yusis. However, there was a large tumor on her back, growing out through her torn clothes. Cheryl, you're just as rebellious as you have been. You should learn to obey the rules, Yusis said softly. Gritting her teeth, Cheryl stared at Yusis. Sharp claws grew out from her fingers. I'll never obey your rules, you monster. How about you two chat first? I suddenly remember I have something else later. Bye. Mr. Chen, Cheryl's treatment has yet to be finished, so you can't leave now. Ms. Yusis, I don't think I can help in Cheryl's condition. No, you can. I can't. Chen Zhao was rather bored. What does this perverted old woman want? Do you know how she wants you to treat me? Cheryl said. No, Chen Zhao admitted. She wants you to be killed by me. What? She wants you to be killed by me, Cheryl repeated. Why? Why would she want that? I said, you won't want to know. Look, she's turned into a monster, and so will you. What can I not know now? Like what you've seen, I'm a monster. After midnight, I'll lose my rationality. She hopes that I can kill you myself later, so that I can completely turn into the monster that she wants to see. So I came here as a sacrifice. You finally got it, Cheryl said. How will she benefit if you turn into a monster? Yusis twisted her neck in an unnatural way and a wicked smile appeared on her face. I only want to change my body. She's the body that I want, young and special. Combine with me and we'll be invincible. Don't even think about it. Cheryl roared in anger. At the same time, she charged toward Yusis. The tumor on Yusis' back suddenly enlarged. It moved over her shoulder and struck toward Cheryl as if it had its own mind. Cheryl was blown backward again. There was a mouth at the top of the tumor. When it hit Cheryl, it tore a piece of flesh from her arm, after which it chewed and swallowed the flesh. Cheryl stood up again. With her arm covered in blood, she looked obviously in pain. The tumor on Yusis' back was really terrifying. It was dark red, had no eyes, but a huge mouth filled with sharp teeth. There were a few thin tentacles around its mouth and a row of tiny holes on each side. Presumably, it breathed through these holes. The tumor looked like the head of a worm. It could vary its own length. However, its reaction speed was clearly faster than a worm. Cheryl, how about let me try? Chen Zhao pulled Cheryl's arm. Get back. You can't do anything here. Stop standing in my way. Cheryl was almost out of control, just like a furious little cat. Chapter 224, Want a Weregirl. Chapter 224, Want a Weregirl. Chen Zhao saw thick fur grow out of Cheryl's arm and neck. Cheryl, you're quite hairy. Did you rub hair growth shampoo on you? Cheryl turned toward Chen Zhao. Her eyes weren't that friendly anymore. They held some wildness, along with restraint. Fuck off. Cheryl tried hard to keep calm, but Chen Zhao was too annoying. I'm a different species. It's not an overgrowth of hair, alright. Chen Zhao immediately took a step back in case Cheryl really lost control. Cheryl, stop holding back, Yusis urged. You can't defeat your wildness. Face your true self. Shut up. Cheryl charged at Yusis again. This time, she was faster and more aggressive. The tumor shook powerfully and sent Cheryl flying. But this time, Cheryl's sharp claws pressed against the walls. She adjusted her direction and pounced on Yus's again. Whoosh! Yus's face was scratched open, but Cheryl got bitten on the shoulder by the tumor worm. It shook and sent Cheryl flying toward Zhao. He grabbed her. Cheryl, are you okay? I'll stop her. You run. No, you can't do it. Let me do it. Zhao looked at Yus's. Mrs. Yus's, I advise you to turn and run right now. Otherwise, you won't be able to handle the consequences. Mr. Chen, I'd really like to see what kind of consequences I can't handle. Yus's wasn't easily scared by Zhao. Cheryl rolled her eyes. You think that can scare her? Fine. Zhao looked Yus's a bit helplessly. He couldn't deal with this old witch. However, he took out the Bloody Hunter's ritual implement. Do you know what this is? What? A light fog started seeping in. A huge figure appeared within the fog. Cheryl and Yus's both looked fearfully at the figure. Slowly, the fog gathered in one place and the Bloody Hunter stood before them. Cheryl took a step back. Werewolf. A whole werewolf. Another BA, mixed blood. The Bloody Hunter corrected himself when he saw Cheryl in Zhao's arms. Bloody Hunter, do you know what that is? Zhao asked, pointing at Yus's. She should be a poisoned soul suffering from the backlash of a curse. What does that mean? Explain in layman terms and don't use professional terms. Zhao thought that Yus's had been infected by some hell creature and that she could still be saved. Judging by the Bloody Hunter's tone, it didn't seem to be the case. She used a spell she shouldn't have used. She lost control and was cursed by it. Her soul and body have both been tainted by the negativity, or became a poisoned soul, in other words. Can she still be saved? She's still her, the Bloody Hunter said. There's no saving to be done. Then kill her. The tumor worm on Yus's back pointed at the Bloody Hunter. A purer werewolf. It seems like you're more suitable to become my body. When the Bloody Hunter heard Yus's, he laughed in anger. He was different from a mixed blood like Cheryl. Plus, Cheryl was the kind that hadn't activated her bloodline yet. The Bloody Hunter attacked directly. The tumor on Yus's back also gnashed right at the Bloody Hunter. The Bloody Hunter's huge claws swept across. A chunk of the tumor flew immediately. The Bloody Hunter's claw sank into Yus's neck, but Cheryl's heart squeezed. No. She still had feelings for Yus's, even though Yus's had become a different person. Zhao glanced at Cheryl. She can't stay. She's already a monster. Cheryl's tears flowed out without stop. The Bloody Hunter's claws dug in. That moment, Yus's looked as if she'd been relieved. Green liquid spewed out of the tumor. Falling onto the ground, Yus's eyes remained trained on Cheryl. Her lips quivered, as if saying, sorry. The Bloody Hunter was very strong. He was a natural warrior, which an amateur like Yus's couldn't compare to. Of course, Cheryl couldn't compare to him either. Zhao and Cheryl found 2 incomplete corpses in the empty orphanage. To make sure Yus's wouldn't be a criminal in death, Cheryl burned the entire orphanage to ashes with a torch. She cried very, very hard. This had been her home and now, she destroyed it with her own hands. Her only family had died before her eyes too. Cheryl. Zhao patted her shoulder. Go away. Cheryl was upset with him and shook his hand away. No, listen to me. I don't want to listen. Then you can stay here. The police will be here soon anyway. You can tell them that you set the orphanage on fire. Just don't rat me out. Chen Zhao turned to leave, but Cheryl called him immediately. Wait. What? I want to help you work. You saw that I have werewolf blood. I can help you do a lot of things you can't. You're not going back to the orphanage. I don't want to. The administrator isn't nice. But there's nothing you can do for me. Fine. Cheryl turned to leave. Looking at her backside, Chen Zhao had a headache. Wait. Cheryl's back was to Chen Zhao, but her lips curled up in a devilish smile. I have a spiritualist friend. I'll ask if she wants to hire you. A spiritualist? Like you? I'm a doctor, not a spiritualist, Chen Zhao corrected. Then he called Sienna. Sienna. What? Failai just called me saying her call to you won't go through and asked if I knew where you are. You still haven't gone home. I ran into some trouble. Right now, I have a Weregirl by my side. She's strong. Are you interested? A werewolf? An actual werewolf? You're saying that you met a werewolf? She doesn't have a home and needs someone to hire her. If you're uninterested, don't come over. Yes, I'm interested. Where are you? I'll go find you too. My team needs a strong werewolf. Are you sure? Of course, but you have to promise that your Weregirl is strong enough. Definitely. She's definitely strong and violent. Come on, human skin is elastic. As long as the difference isn't too big, it won't have obvious wrinkles. When you reduced from 140 kilograms to 125 kilograms that time, your skin showed no difference, remember? Maybe a few days later. Norman's was pretty tall, indeed she was 171 centimeters. As long as she did not want to become bony, 60 kilograms should be the ideal weight. Up to you. Chen Zhao would only give advice on this. He was not in the position to interfere. Now, he did not even have to supervise Norman's diet. She would strictly control her own meals. In just over 10 days, Norman's had changed from the inside out. Without the fats on her face and body, she already had the beauty that she was supposed to have. Of course, she still looked rather bloated in her clothes. Chen Zhao swam with Norman's with a bit longer. When Norman's returned to the ground, Wouter immediately approached her. The now intelligent Wouter was exceptionally close to Norman's. Usually, when Chen Zhao and Norman's went to run outside for a few hours, Wouter would stay at home alone, listless. He did not have the stamina to run more than 10 kilometers. Asshole, how exactly did you train Wouter? Not just me, even my dad loves him now. He's really too smart. The 100,000 is simply well spent, don't you think? Even a professional animal trainer wouldn't cost so much. Norman's twitched her lips. You can go and hire any professional animal trainer you want, but it wouldn't have been this effective, Chen Zhao said. Wouter, give me a can of beer. Hearing Chen Zhao's instruction, Wouter immediately ran into the house. Soon, he came out with a can of beer in his mouth. Wouter, you're my pet. Don't listen to this asshole. Give me the beer. Don't be so stingy. Wouter, give it to me. Why can you drink but not me? Because I don't need to lose weight, but you do. So you've been acting the entire night and now you're being stupid again. I'm worried inside, but it's useless, Dell said helplessly. An hour later, the doctor responsible for the test came out with the report. A nurse carried Faith. Mr. Dell, the situation isn't good. What's bad? Dell instantly grew nervous. Your daughter has congenital choroidal hypoplasia. She can't react to light. can you do surgery? Dell asked. The child is too young and can't undergo surgery. Also, this condition is congenital, so it can't be fixed. In addition, she has the Diego blood type. Chen, what's that? Diego was discovered in 1955. It's named after the first patient who produced a new blood antigen. This patient gave birth to an infant with neonatal hemolytic disease. An antigen was found that could attack the infant's red blood cells through the placenta. In 1967, the second Diego antigen was found and more kept being discovered in 1995. Say it more simply. It's a rare blood type. And then, Faith's choroid is underdeveloped, so if she does surgery, someone will have to donate their eyes. This means that if Faith wants to see, she'll need to switch out her entire eye. But with how rare the Diego blood type is, there might not be one match in decades. Do you understand? Can you buy it on the black market? I'm willing to spend as much money as needed if I can buy it. Is $1 million enough? Chen Zhao slapped Dell's head. Idiot. The doctor walked away, shaking his head. Chen Zhao glared at Dell. Watch your language. This isn't your house. Thank God the doctor didn't take it seriously. Otherwise, you could have gotten reported. Why? I didn't do anything. I can't even talk about it. You know how the organs on the black market get there. How? There are organ harvesting places everywhere in the world. Some organ harvesters get their eyes on tourists. Then they're dragged to the place and their organs are taken out. Sometimes, their bodies are found in the rivers or beaches. Chapter 227, Agreement. Chapter 227, Agreement. Never buy an organ from the black market or book an organ from someone, because an innocent person might die due to your decision. As a doctor, Chen Zhao knew how horrifying organ traffickers were. Organ trading was also known as the cruelest trade in human history. Tens of thousands of dollars was enough for an organ trafficker to dismember an innocent man. Dell was kind of abnormal most of the time, but it did not mean he was a bad guy. Chen, is there really not a single solution? Chen Zhao bit his own lips and thought about it. Leave her in the hospital for now and let the medical experts see if she can be treated. Chen Zhao wanted to use a pristine eyeball, but he could not do it before Dell. He planned to wait for Faith to be discharged. Then, he would bring her to his house and give her a pristine eyeball. Dell left Faith in the hospital because it was only a preliminary examination, not a conclusion. Her current diagnosis might just be wrong. No matter how unlikely some things were, most people would still hope that they could become reality. Chen Zhao left the hospital alone. Suddenly, a car charged toward Chen Zhao. He quickly ran backward. The car also stopped. Are you trying to fucking kill me? Chen Zhao roared. A man whose face was covered in sweat alighted from the car. Without apologizing to Chen Zhao, he flung the rear door open and carried a child out. Then, he bolted into the hospital as fast as he could. If Chen Zhao knew that there was a kid requiring urgent treatment, he would not have cursed the driver. He touched his nose, feeling somewhat embarrassed. Mr. John, what's wrong with young John? For hastily approached John and saw him carrying John Jr. I wanted to call him for lunch just now, but he kept lying on the sofa. I couldn't wake him up. As they ran along the corridor, For shone a torchlight into John Jr.'s eyes. Pupils dilated and bloodshot in his eyes. Probably caused by nerve compression. Mr. John, what does his report last month say? The tumor in his brain has increased in size obviously, and the rate is much faster than a few months ago, John replied urgently. Ms. 4, please save John. He's only 5. Has he been taking his medicine timely? Yes, all the time, but since last month, it has been ineffective. We'll send him into the ICU first. Soon, the examination report came out. The tumor in John Jr.'s brain had restored its size from 5 months ago. Ms. 4, how did you manage to reduce the tumor size last time? Can you please do it again? The cost doesn't matter. You know that I only have one kid. If he's gone, all my money will become meaningless. Please save him. At any cost. Forbid her own finger and remained silent for a while. I know someone who can help. I can try, but I can't promise that he's definitely willing to help. Who's he? I'll convince him. No. If he finds out that I've told someone else about it, he will definitely not help. For came to the rooftop and called Zhao. Chen, I need your help, For said directly. Do what? I hope you can treat a kid's brain tumor, the kid in the ward that you accidentally entered last time. You relieved his condition that time, but it's back again. I can't do it, and I'm also not the person who helped him last time, Zhao denied as usual. If you can help me, I'll say something good about you before my dad. I may even provide you with his information. Hearing Four's words, Zhao began to hesitate. To be honest, Zhao was really frustrated when he had heard that Fei Lai's father would very likely try to stop their relationship. Parental disapproval has always been an unsolvable problem since ancient times. Zhao clearly could not drag Fei Lai's father out and beat him up. Nevertheless, Four's cooperation might just resolve her father's hostility and denial toward him. Do that kid's parents know about me? His father doesn't know who you are. Then never let him know, Zhao said. Also, I have another request. What? Remember the kid that my friend and I sent to the hospital today? Yes. I asked about her too. Choroidal hypoplasia. I want you to prepare an operating room for me. During the surgery, nobody can come in. I also don't want any cameras to record the process down. What do you want to do to that kid? Another rule between us, don't ask me about what I want to do again. Can you heal her eyes? Four gasped. Do you agree or not? How long do you need the room for? About half an hour. Okay, I'll think of a way. When do you want me to do the operation? The sooner, the better. That kid's in a really critical state. For pause before she continued, the best timing is tonight. I'm afraid he can't live for much longer. The longer we wait, the more severe his condition will be. Also, it's much easier for me to arrange an operating room for you at night. Tonight? When? After midnight. Fine, Zhao agreed. Send me his examination report. I need to prepare a suitable drug for him. For immediately sent the report to Zhao. It was out of her trust toward him, and also because she had no other choice. After studying demonic crystals over the past many weeks, Zhao now had a much better understanding of how they could be used. To the human body, a demonic crystal was, perhaps ironically, both an excellent medicine and a fatal toxin. While a piece of demonic crystal could cure a person of his illness, it would also destroy his body to some extent. Hence, using demonic crystals to extend one's life indefinitely was but an impossible fantasy. Humans could not do what demons could not. Nonetheless, other substances could be used to neutralize the damage demonic crystals had to the human body. In this way, demonic crystals would do little to no damage and instead restore and repair the body, maximizing their effects. Of course, the better way was to use perfect demonic crystals. Perfect crystals were indeed much more effective than ordinary demonic crystals, but they were too scarce. As a result, Zhao would not use them whenever possible. He did not have too many perfect crystals, not to mention that he had no idea when he would next obtain them. When he had killed the murderer that time, he obtained his first piece of perfect crystal. He received another one after saving 9 people from the fire. The third one appeared after he had encountered the Mexican gang and sent their leader, Odutra, into prison. At the moment, he still had more than half of the second piece of perfect crystal. The third one was still complete, and Chen Zhao had yet no intention of breaking it apart.